If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another Thursday. Here with me this week is the one and only Ryan Gowland from the New World Pictures podcast, back for the, what is this, third time only, I think, somehow?
Third time. Who knew?
That means it has to be the charm tonight.
It is. It has to be. This has to be it. Finally, I'll elicit some charm. Tonight's the night.
Yes, tonight is the night when we get to talk about Kingdom of Heaven, so let's bring on the charm. That's what it's known for.
I'm going to have so much to say then.
How's everything been?
Good. Things are going good. We're nice and busy. Got a lot going on, a lot we're trying to take care of. Trying to get some progress going on some writing, and so I've got like 3 articles I'm working on. I got the book I'm working on. I got a script. I got a lot we're trying to finish up. So got a lot happening at the moment.
Fires are less of a worry this time than the last time?
Fires are much less of a worry, though. I was just thinking today, like, we still need to drive through and kind of view everything because, like, nothing has been rebuilt. Like, nothing.
Right.
We're still, it's still like in that period where we need to rebuild, and so we're still at that point. But yeah. We need to like remind ourselves.
Olympics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's coming up in a couple of years. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into some New World Picture stuff then. What's been going on the show lately?
Currently we are in the middle of Vampril 2. We're watching vampire movies. We just finished another round of women in prison films last month. And I'm very excited to say this month, either next week or the week after, I'm not sure which, but we're going to finally start a new series on Corman graduates. And we're starting with Jack Hill as our very first subject matter. And we've already recorded our first episode with Callum Waddle. So
wow, nice.
Yeah, so that was really cool. I'm really excited for that episode to come out. So I'm excited for everyone to hear it because Callum is he's amazing. He's brilliant. So yeah. So we just sort of like let him talk and get out of the way. But he wrote a book about Jack Hill, which is why we approached him. So I thought, well, we'll look at other people that also wrote books on Jack Hill. Just Callum. Callum's the only one. Just Callum. He did that in like 2009. He did that. Yeah. And there's still no other book. So so we're very excited for that series. We're going to have a lot of good guests. And so, and then we'll be moving on to other people that were graduates from the Corman School. So we're very excited for it.
Amazing. I think you had mentioned the series to me maybe prior, and I was very eager to see some of the things that's going to come out of that because there's so much that is possible on this. It's literally one of the most influential gentlemen of all time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think we were going to start with Stephanie Rothman. I think we're now reversing it and we were going to do Rothman and then Jack Hill, and now we're doing Jack Hill, then Rothman. So we're sort of switching it up, which we thought was going to be perfect kismet because we talked about The Big Birdcage, which was Jack Hill's second women in prison films that he did for New World last month. And we sure are, Jeremy. But as it worked out with the schedule with Callum, we weren't able to get it in time. So we're starting just a little bit later, but again, we're scheduling with somebody who's across the pond. So it took a little bit of work, and he's an extremely busy man. So we were just fortunate to be able to find a piece of time where we could get him.
Right. Stefano says, I believe Jack Hill is still with us. We were mentioning...
He is.
Roger
He's in his 90s.
We were talking about Corman at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Should have said specifically.
He's in his early 90s. He was a little bit younger than Corman, so he's still around. So that would be the ideal thing, would be to maybe have an interview with him to close it all out, but we'll see how that goes.
That would be crazy.
Crazy.
I would love to hear that, yeah. Other than New World Picture stuff, we get a lot to talk about tonight. One of the big pieces of news of the day, which is relevant considering we've discussed it on the show prior, just got word that the Oscars are going to be having a category for stunts coming up starting in 2027. That's
very cool.
Big damn deal.
About time.
Huge deal.
The other thing I would say, too, is casting. I think that there needs to be that as well. They used to have that, and they should have that back, too. But, hey, let's just take stunts for now and enjoy the victory. And
it's a big win, yeah.
Huge win. Yeah, there can't be enough categories. People that are like, oh, it's going to make the show too long. Like, shut up.
Let's have a 5.5 hour show. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're all going to survive. It's one night out of the year.
Well, and now people might not survive if they're trying to go all out for stunts to get an Oscar.
Would Tom Cruise be actually up for it? Would he actually? Would he? I mean, I don't know.
As part of the team, yeah, probably.
As the part of the team, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into our usual stuff then. Recent watches. What have you been checking out lately?
Okay, so recent watches. A lot of them have been Jack Hill movies. So
I'm shocked.
Surprise, surprise, and stuff for the podcast. So recently, I haven't been able to dive into as much stuff as I have wanted to. I was on a really good clip where I was watching a new movie like every day, and I was like, I'm killing it, and then we got into all this Jack Hill research, and it's just been all for the podcast. I just finished this though last night. I finished Star Slammer.
What a cover on that.
Oh, unbelievable. This is a Hamilton book purchase, cost me next to nothing. This is a Fred Olin Ray movie, and it is as Corman-esque a movie as you could ask for, even down to the fact that while he shot some footage in Corman's studio in Venice just to be able to show producers to try to get money. So he just shot like a little bit. When they got the actual funding, which he gets from producer Jack H. Harris, and he's an old school producer who actually produced the original Blob. And he had actually, for New World, coincidentally, they had originally had the rights to remake the Blob, and they were set up to remake the Blob before Chuck Russell makes it with a different studio. But and so they released a couple of his movies on video. But regardless, so he does borrow sets. So he borrowed a bunch of sets from Corman, who at the time had just finished shooting Space Raiders. Excuse me, I knew that didn't sound right. Star Slammer, Space Raiders. So Space Raiders, they took that. Plus, they took costumes. They have costumes in the movie from Galaxy of Terror. It just looks like a Corman sci-fi movie. Nice. It's definitely probably going to be, maybe not this year. I don't know if we'll fit it in, but it's. Sorry, my dog is at my legs here. It's just pulled. I almost got yanked by the cord here because she's laying on it. She just had surgery today, so she's not feeling great. Anyway, so this might be a nearly New World for our podcast at some point because it is so New World. It's like the forgotten sci-fi movie that Corman never shot at the studios, but it feels like it. So that's what I've been watching. I also watched recently. I saw Death of a Unicorn in the movie theater.
How was it?
I really liked it. I'm sorry, everybody.
It's quite divisive.
People did not like it. I laughed out loud many times. I enjoyed it. I don't know. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. Have you seen it?
I've not seen it. I unfortunately, the only thing I've seen new over the last 6 weeks are all stuff that's not even in theaters yet because it's from the festival. So
I was looking those up. Some stuff. You saw Clown in a Cornfield in that?
Yeah.
I was looking those up. I was like, oh, are those out? And I was like, oh no, you saw it at a festival. Damn it.
Yep, not wait. Death of a Unicorn looks great, and then shout out to New World. You went. I don't know if you saw it, but New World got a random ass shout out in another brand new movie.
Yes, in Minecraft. I've been posting that picture where one of the girls looks like she's wearing a New World shirt without the New World. Just the logo.
No words. Nobody's going to know what it means.
No, but I did. My wife saw that one. I didn't see it. She took our kids and saw it. I somehow
You're
managed,
probably better off.
Yeah, I managed to scoot out of watching that one. But I bring up Death of a Unicorn because I think people should see it. And I've also recently seen Black Bag. People should be seeing that if they haven't. Those are movies in theaters you should go see. Two other things of note. I watched Rumpelstiltskin, the TerrorVision, because I'm a subscriber. That was my first. I got that and the Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter. Those are my first ones, which are amazing. I mean, if anything, it sold me so hard on TerrorVision subscription. I was like, this is my first two movies, and they're the deluxe editions. I was like, that's crazy.
That you basically got for like $20.
That's $22.50 or something. That's stupid, you know. So like I'm like, well, I'll be subscribing for more because that's insane. And I really enjoyed it. I like those early Leprechaun movies. It's the same guy who made the first two, or at least made one, and then I think he wrote the second. Because Rodman,
I feel like it got rewritten after, but I think he got a writing credit at least.
Yeah. So this is definitely in that Leprechaun cinematic universe. So
very much.
But it was a good time. I had a good time. Good extras, great disc, good work, everybody there. And then the other one I'll just mention briefly is our daughter is 14, and so she was. She gets obsessed with these movies, and she's like, Dad, we got to see this movie. So I'm always like, oh yeah, I'll indulge you. No problem. So she kept saying, yeah, I got to see this movie, Mysterious Skin. And I was like, okay. And I was like, Gregoraki, I think. Right. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that's one I've seen. So I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot,
How'd that go for you, Ryan?
She was like, oh, it's all about like, this alien from, this kid's like looking for in the sky and seeing aliens and stuff. And so I was like, okay. And that's not what it's about. It's about something totally different. It's it's a very adult film. And then my wife came in the middle and was like, what are you watching? And then sat down and was like, oh God. So there's a little bit of fast forwarding a little bit here and there, there's a few scenes of some abuse and such, of a sexual nature. And so it was like really just, she's 14, she's going to see lots of crazy stuff at this point, but I was like, maybe not something you want to watch with your parents. I'm just trying to save you, really.
Rocky is subversive to say the least.
Oh yeah, and I kind of knew that, and so I should have known better. But so now my wife has told me, like, you don't have, just because you put a movie on doesn't mean you have to finish the movie. But we did finish the movie. We did watch through the whole thing. So that's it for what I've been watching recently.
Nice. This last week has been a weird one for me. I watched.
That's not Third Rock from the Sun. That's right.
I watched a ton of shorts from the festival to catch up before everything went out. A couple that I wanted to shout out that people should take a look at if you can. Banjo was hilarious. This is about a 15-minute short that. Hot off the heels of discussing Iraqi, I'm going to describe this one in full. This is about a sexual encounter at it's like a cabin, basically, with like a couple couples get away, and one of them retreats to the bedroom, and they've not done certain things before, and they get to it, and the dude's frenulum snaps, also known as the banjo string. And they went for a over-the-top splatterfest hilarity type of approach to that. And the cringe happens at first, but then it is hilarious. Really, really, really funny short. It's a good time. People should watch it. The other big one that I want to shout out is Anemus Forks, I believe is how you pronounce this. Really heavy on isolation horror, which is nice. It's about a young woman and her uncle that are essentially just walking around, and they stumble upon this like crazy ritual that's happening, and you don't know everything that's going on. There's some things that are mysterious on purpose, and even you never really get an answer for it, which I kind of really like, especially in a short like this, because you're kind of taking a step into what is hopefully the bigger piece of a story here. And so it was really well acted. That was the biggest thing. Is it was all believable. It was all just something that you could get lost in watching this. They looked like real people. Nobody was acting. It was really fantastic. If you are terrified of being left alone in the woods, it's the kind of short that is really easy to get lost in.
Oh yeah, and I definitely am.
And then
there's nothing scarier to me than just wide open space.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, especially in like the woods that are so dense where you could do like 3 complete 360s and not even realize that you're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any chance to see these shorts, or are these just
they will be soon? I believe a couple of these are going to be on YouTube after they do the festival circuits with a couple of like Alter is one of those ones where it hosts horror shorts online. But who knows? I mean, these could show up on physical media at some point. They could show up on streaming. I don't know. I feel like somebody needs to focus on shorts for sure.
Yeah.
It's a really untapped market.
If they make another full length movie, maybe it might show up on like a Blu-ray of the film.
Yeah, theoretically.
But yeah, it would be cool to be able to see, because it would be cool to see more shorts. It's hard. It's kind of harder to see. You really have to seek them out. Yeah,
I agree. And then I can't really speak on it. I'll tell you after, Ryan. But Will and myself and John Daly, Rock Chudson, we spent 4.5 days in a row working on something that was basically an audition for a really potentially big thing. And
cool.
I ended up watching 4 of the same movies, 2.5 times each, most of those times on fast forward. But man, it's diving into a project like that when you only have like 5 days to get everything done. It is crazy to just get lost in a franchise like that.
Oh, it's a franchise. Okay.
Theoretically. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One of those theoretical franchises. I see.
Yeah, like could be connected in a couple certain ways. Speaking, not really. Let's move on to pickups. Sure. You've got a bunch of stuff because
I've got a ton. Yeah.
Every time a sale is announced, you get pissed off.
Yeah.
And share your disgust in the Discord. Let's see what's been going on in your world.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody knows my particular GIF that I use always in the Discord, because I know I'm going to spend some money and I'm pissed off because I want you guys to leave me alone. Speaking of the Discord, though, I'm going to just say, because, I decided to sign up for a year and I got a gift.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a gift. I got the 4K Planes, Trains, and Automobiles sent to me by Chad. I got it straight in the mail.
Oh, I was wondering how many times I was going to hear that tonight. Yes.
I also went on a deep discount and bought a bunch of things recently. So what I was searching for was stuff, again, on the Discord. Everybody should sign up for the Discord, the Disconnected Discord. You should be signing up, because I found out that there was a great deal on the Amadeus 4K.
Yeah.
So it was $20.
That's pretty incredible.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I had to get that. And while I was there, I also got Constantine. I upgraded that to 4K, also for $20.
Jeez.
Yeah. Crazy. And then again, like about $15, I got The Beast, which was a movie I really wanted to see last year and I didn't get a chance to. So I was like, well, let's give that a shot. And The Lady is the Boss. Which I've not seen, but I was very curious about, new from 88 Films. So I was like, hell yeah. And that was like, I don't even know how much that was. Maybe $80, maybe a total. Like it was just like
pretty great.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Then there was that whole sale for MovieZing for Warner Archive.
Warner Archive.
And again, in the Discord, if you guys haven't signed up for the Discord, you really should, because I got a lot of great advice. I had tons of people giving me advice because I was like, "Hey, let's look at some Warner Archive stuff." Now, behind me, you see some of these shelves. I got a whole shelf dedicated to Orson Welles, so of course I had to get one of these. I had to get Journey into Fear, which is Orson Welles, and and the special features are like there are 3 Mercury Theater radio broadcasts.
Oh wow!
For like Dracula, Treasure Island, and Tale of Two Cities. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that for sure. Jeremiah Johnson from Robert Redford. It's got commentary. Come on.
That's going to go on your shelf dedicated to where all of the famous gifts come from that you see online, right?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, though, I have been on a bit of a Sidney Pollack kick, and I had which one was I watching? Where they had like a whole special feature about his relationship with Robert Redford, and so on the most recent sale that's going on for Kino, like I got, oh no. My dog. She's under the bed. All right. She's got a cone on her head. I'm like, I hope she can get out. All right. So and the most recent one is Havana. So I just bought Havana today because that's like the last movie they made together. So they had like a really big ride. They're one of those like director actor teams that, sort of infamous. And yet at the same time, we don't talk about that as, that's not De Niro or Scorsese kind of level. But so that's why I picked up Jeremiah Johnson. Dial In for Murder for Alfred Hitchcock. I don't have a ton of that. At least this has a documentary. True. And it's a little bit of Bogdanovich because we might be eventually going, doing some Bogdanovich as well for our Corman graduate series. So we're sort of boning up for that.
I got the same disc because it rarely goes on sale ever anywhere else.
Yes.
It's not one of those Amazon ones that gets down to 12 ever.
Right. And this is the sale, the 2 sales that I really was throwing a giant tub of popcorn about, because Shout Factory had not 1 but 2 sales, because they had a going out of print sale, and then they had their Roger Corman sale. So the going out of print sale, I picked up Depraved.
Nice.
From Larry Fessenden. And I also picked up Of Unknown Origin.
Oh, I've been wanting to see that one. Yeah.
Yep. This is one I did I think at midnight when they're like the sale's supposed to end. I was like, they were in the car and I was like, damn it, bye. I was like, oh, you sons of bitches. Night of the Lepus, which is just a stupid movie about killer rabbits. You
got to watch something on Easter. I get it.
Yeah. And it's so ridiculous, that movie. It's so ridiculous. And this is one I actually haven't seen, The House of Jack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I've had this in carts before from Umbrella, and because they sell it as well. So I was just like, well, we'll just get this version. It's pretty much the same thing. And then in the Corman sale, I got Brain Dead, which, it's got the Bills. It's got Pullman and Paxton.
It's worth it. Yeah, it's a good movie.
And The Unborn.
Have not seen that one. I've heard that one's fun.
Yeah, this is one of, this is Rodman Flender, so I really wanted to check that out. They recently had a screening here in LA that I missed, so I think... Oh, wow. I think it played at the New Beverly, I think. And so I was missed out on it, and I was really pissed. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get it and watch it. And, I have it, I've had it in almost every single medium so far, so I picked up the Rock and Roll High School 4K. Mainly because the only thing new to it is that it has a commentary with Stephen B. Armstrong, and we had him on our show, and we interviewed him because he put out a book about Rock and Roll High School, but he's also done, and this is also brand new, is I just got his it's a 3rd volume, and it's Roger Corman's New World Pictures, Volume 3. It's an oral history, and this is just a ton of, interviews with people that worked for Corman and stuff. And so I have both those books. I rely on them a whole lot for the podcast in terms of research. So I had to pick up the new one. And, I spoke to him and Mark Helfrich and Alan Arkish when he did his Rock and Roll High School book. So I was like, well, I got to check it out and listen to his commentary. And because his book about Rock and Roll High School, if you don't have it, is so good.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing movie. And lastly, there's two more things, but this one I had to get. This is the Imprint Blaxploitation set.
Nice.
I have seen almost all of these. No, I've seen half of these. Superfly TNT and Detroit 9000 I've seen, but it's been a while. So I also have that Blaxploitation set that Shout Factory put out. That's also pre-ordered. But
I was going to ask what you think of that one too.
Well, yeah, it's pre-ordered, so that one I'm waiting for. And again, I got a really amazing deal on it because somebody pointed out a great deal on your Discord. And so that's how I got that. But this one I picked up, I think this is from Diabolic. So
nice.
But I'm excited about that set. It's very good. This just showed up today. This is the Eyeball 4K.
Oh, 88. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to get it. I know it's not the like super special packaging, which I could have tried to get, but I just was like, let's just get the movie. Let's at least have that. And it was a very good deal.
Well, and even then, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's something going on with the rights for that in the U.S. because it doesn't even have blue here. And 88 now put it out twice. And so that's probably going to be the definitive release for it.
At least for a while. So enough time to give me to like really watch it. And if it's got, if it's Lenzi, I'm probably going to just pick it up, you know? So I'm kind of nuts. Then that just showed up today along with, this just showed up too. Also important for our Jack Hill series. This is Black Caesars and Foxy Cleopatras by Odie Henderson. And I've been eyeing this book for a while, but because the Jack Hill series, I had to pick it up. So, and it was $8 on Amazon. And I'm trying not to buy anything from Amazon.
For a hardcover, pretty thick book.
This is a hardcover book for $8. I was like, damn it. I threw that tub of popcorn big time. So I was giving Uncle Jeff too much money.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to buy from any of them right now, but, you know, just the small guys. But, you know, I couldn't avoid that deal, and I really wanted that book. So that's it for me. There's more, but I cut it down just to that. Just stuff that, you know what? Sign up for the Discord, guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're a great salesman, but, I mean, honestly, it is true. The fact that, you know, I'll find something that's out of print or about to be out of print, and I'll find it randomly on Orbit, and I'll go in there and post, it's available right now. If you want it, go get it right now. Something deep discount. There's a promo code that's working. Somebody will post in there, hey, if you go buy these two things, it's only $34 and it should be like $90. And you're like, okay, I guess I got to do it.
Yep. I mean, I look in that deals tab with a lot of trepidation because I'm like, damn it, it's lit up. There's something new. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I open it up and then I'm like, damn it, there's a good deal. And then I buy a bunch of stuff.
But the last 2 weeks, it seemed like every 14 seconds was a new sale.
Oh my God. It's been crazy. Yeah. I finally just bought what was in my cart for Kino, and I was like, enough. Leave me alone. I gotta watch some of these movies. Just leave
Don't
me be.
remind me.
Stan, by the way, Alan Arkish is a cool guy. We also interviewed him for when Corman passed away too. So we've talked to him a couple of times, and he was very cool and very generous with his time, and much more generous than he even needed to be. So we really appreciated that from him. But get on that Discord if you have not been.
I wanted to share, because this has been a pretty busy week for me, which I've not had a busy week in a little while. Some things. One, the new Fangoria with this.
Yes, I have that too.
To David Lynch came in.
Yeah.
Wanted to highlight that because we have another piece on David Lynch in the upcoming issue of the Physical Media Advocate coming out on May 1st. So keep an eye out on that.
And I'll be getting it because I am now in another tier. So I'll be getting at least the PDF copy. So
excellent.
Reading through the last issue as we speak. So
I've been meaning to, we'll talk about that later too. I've been meaning to post something to the Discord about it, but we'll be chatting. This next one was waiting for the newest Severance stuff to get in. I'm very late to this party. Was not going to get this, but the Opera big fat release from Severin that came out.
Oh, yes.
Very excited to see this in 4K. And what held it up is all of the Russ Meyer 4Ks. Got those in. Knowing that they had only licensed 5 at the moment, and who knows what's going to happen in the future, I just kind of said, well, if we're not going to get a bunch of these and they're not going to get discounted, may as well. I got to have them. It's Russ. So,
yeah.
Figured I should. Last couple things are all Kino, and wanted to shout these out because Murder by Decree is an incredible film that everybody should see at least 12 times. It is worth a rewatch after you've watched it the first time, and the Blu-ray sucked. And from what I hear, this 4K fixes all of it. So absolutely worth it. Excellent cast. Christopher Plummer, Donald Sutherland, really nail it down. But Bob Clark, amazing director.
You're going to make me do another cart. I just told you, Ryan. I closed it out. No, I had that. I was looking at that one just last night before I bought, and I was like trying to keep it to a couple movies I need or want, a couple blind buys.
Yeah.
Really just some upgrades. And I was trying to just really keep myself to upgrade so I don't add to this huge stack of unwatched movies. But damn it. All right. Well,
I was also
it's $18, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ludicrous to not. Yeah.
That being $18 is one thing that got me. And then brand new to doc that came out last year. Shocked to see this on sale already. Had to get this. I've been wanting to see this since it was announced last year. Heard nothing but incredible things about it. Soundtrack to a coup d'etat. I think it was 10 for a brand new, like, raved about documentary. I have to. Yeah.
It's a good call. That's a good call.
And then tonight, we have not discussed what our discussion is going to be about yet. Our discussion is going to be on foundational comedies, comedies that made us who we were at different points in our life. And this is not one for me, but I had to pre-order this because I do remember liking it quite a bit. But I was just slightly too young when it came out. Had to get the 4K of Black Sheep. I had to get this with Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy was more my pick than Black Sheep, but
this is why I love you, right? Because you were like, I was like looking at all this, half the stuff I put out is just like some just stupid crap, and you were like Murder by Decree and like soundtrack to a coup d'etat, and I was like, shit, yeah, Ryan, that's a good call. He's really got some good taste. And then you're like, and also Black Sheep, and I was like, okay, this is why I love Ryan, because you gotta have those. You have to have those things. No, you got to. No,
as a fat man that grew up loving physical comedy, Chris Farley was a fucking god, and Black Sheep and Tommy Boy are like top of the stack, other than very specific SNL skits, and it had to be in the collection. And when Kino's doing it, I'm not stoked because they don't do great discs, but it's better than paying $40 for something with no extras. So I'm sure it'll be worth it.
Yeah. I mean, if Arrow does it at some point, then you're going to have to upgrade. But until that time, and there's just sadly so few movies we have of Chris Farley to kind of watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, especially one where he's the lead, I mean, there's a few where he's just like a small character, but
right. We absolutely do need Beverly Hills Ninja to get some good love.
That's next, right?
I hope so. That would be very, very nice.
And that would have hit like the sweet spot for you too, right? Because you would have been like what, 7 or 8 or something at that point.
Yeah, it was pretty foundational.
Yeah, totally.
It probably could have been on the list if I remembered it existed a couple hours ago when I made my list. So tonight's going to be fun. For those that don't know, Ryan's got a history in comedy. For those that have watched you on here before, what have you done in comedy before? Other than the amazingly hilarious podcast, everybody go subscribe to the New World Pictures podcast.
Thank you.
On top of being educational about some of the greatest films of all time, running gags that are amazing, chemistry between 3 people that just met last week in a way that I'm shocked by. It is.
We're getting to know each other through the podcast. It's been very helpful.
2 voices that you can't tell apart, and yet they're just getting to know each other now. Amazing stuff.
Do we really sound that alike, my brother?
No, I'm talking about you and your wife.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. The same. The exact same.
No, New World Pictures podcast is one of my absolute favorite.
You,
one of the pillars of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. What have you done with comedy in the past?
Shit. Well, I mean, I've always been obsessed with sketch comedy. So, and that'll come up later. But I was always involved in sketch groups, and then when when I got out of college, I started doing theater. I was a theater actor, and I did theater for several years. But I also had sketch groups, and I really wanted to go to Chicago. I went to Chicago and studied improv. Did improv for a while, and then I got cast in a theater called Boom Chicago. It's in Amsterdam, and it's a theater that Jordan Peele and Seth Meyers and a bunch of people have come from. They weren't there when I was there, but they had already been and left. And but I got to work over there for a while, and then I came back because I got a job at Second City, and then my wife and I worked for Second City for a few years, and we saved some money up, and we moved to Los Angeles. And we've been out here ever since. But yeah, that's been my. And then when I was here, I got cast in a bunch of college humor videos at the time because I met a bunch of people through improv and stuff, and so I did a lot of improv out here and met people, and then did those videos, and I did Adam Ruins Everything, and I was in some of that stuff, and then I started writing because I was really trying to transition more to writing. But I still got a lot of friends. I bring a lot of friends from the improv world onto our show, and so I'm going to be reaching out to more of them this year because nice. I want to bring more of those friends into the show. So, but they're all going to be like, I got to watch what movie now? But that's the only bar we had to cross. I'm going to be like, oh, I'll talk about a movie with you. Like, well, hold on a second. Here's the movie.
Velvet Vampire. This sounds hilarious.
It's not. It's not. There is some hot dune buggy action, but outside of that,
there is. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, improv has been and sketch comedy has been a huge part of my life.
Perfect segue, because one of the things that I wanted to bring up tonight, because you were related to the college humor stuff, is Dropout. Dropout is an active streaming company that has, God, at this point, active shows, like 15 shows that happen throughout the year, something like that they do. And one of their biggest draws right now, other than like the tabletop gaming stuff that they do, which is incredible, is Game Changer. And Game Changer just came back, hosted by Sam Reich, which people will recognize from College Humor stuff in the past. Season 7 just launched with an hour-long episode that this is going to sound like exaggeration, maybe one of the greatest episodes of comedic TV ever done.
Wow.
I wanted to really highlight this tonight because obviously we don't talk a lot about streaming stuff on here, but Dropout TV, the best thing that you could possibly get as far as streaming, I think, for any service. I think it is by far the biggest bang for your buck. Right now, if you sign up the next 3 weeks, it's $5.99 a month at, I think it's May 7th. It goes up to $6.99 a month. They're charging big bucks. And if you want to pay for a year, it's $59.99 for the year, and then it will be going up to $69.99 for the year. But Game Changer, for those that don't know, essentially it's 3 contestants walking into a room having no idea about what's about to happen. Every single episode, they genuinely are here to improv and try to win an episode. They've got 6 seasons archived that you can watch right now, and they have like actual prizes. We're talking like you can win a spa getaway for a weekend. So people are actually competitive about these things. But if you watch from the beginning, there is ongoing lore, there's history, there's the chemistry between these people that will make you so excited to see certain things pay off literally years later. That coming to what I just mentioned, one of the greatest hours of TV, they just had this episode, which was essentially an episode that started recording a year before they recorded the actual episode. They gave them a year to complete 15 challenges. And the contestants came on and planned the most elaborate shit. It is so worth it to watch. Had me rolling. It is smart. It is funny. It is well done improv. It is hilarious to get invested, like I said, and see how certain people have running gags over like 5 years, literally, that they pull off. On top of that, tons of other amazing shows. I sound like a commercial right now, but nobody ever talks about Dropout. And it's by far one of the greatest things out there that you can put your money into.
Yeah, I saw that deal and I was like, you know what? I should probably get that, especially while it's at a discount, and get the year and then just have it. Because I haven't seen a lot of episodes of Dropout. I just seen a few and really just a lot of clips online. And I know some people that are on some episodes. They'll be like, oh, hey. So, it's like, yeah, I should get it. You know,
Adam shows up quite often. A friend of the show, Josh Rubin, who's been on here before, is on Make Some Noise. He's been on Game Changer. He's been on all kinds of their stuff.
he directed me in a video. There's a video that they did did I mention this before? Anyway, they did a Twilight parody or something, and I was just a director off camera.
Yeah.
And he directed that whole piece, and like half the day I was like sweating, because even though I'm not even on camera, because I was like, why isn't he just doing it? Like, he could do this fine, you know, like he doesn't need me. But he was such a great guy. He was like so nice to me and so good to me, and it was like, he doesn't even need me here. Like, you could easily do this and direct this sketch, and we were in some beautiful house in Beverly Hills. It was like, what? Why do you need me? You know, but great guy.
And now he's directing Hard Eyes, which could be one of the next big slasher franchise.
Which I know you loved.
I genuinely did. I know a lot of people hated it, but
I also saw it.
I loved the tone jumps in it. It is so much fun. All right.
They are jumps. I'll give you that.
Anything else you want to shout out before our announcements for the night?
No, man, let's get into it.
Well, we're starting with an incredible comedy. The Nice Guys. This is coming from Second Sight on June 2nd on 4K and Blu-ray in one of their gorgeous deluxe box sets. This is, of course, the film starring Ryan Gosling and his wonderful friend Russell Crowe, who are just perfect buddy comedy. This is like, when this came out, this was one of, top 10 buddy comedies of all time, I think, immediately, in my opinion, at least. I love this movie. This is going to have a new 4K UHD master. It's going to have Dolby Vision. We got a new audio commentary with Shane Black and Anthony Bagarazzi, the writer, and then Priscilla Page moderated that one. There's a bunch of new interviews, one with Shane Black, one with Ethan Irwin. There is a video essay by Lee Singer. There's a booklet, of course, but when it's Second Sight, it's not a booklet. It's a 150-page hardback book. But man, I wanted to point out how much I love the art on this set. I think this is such a cool, like, pulp version of this art that they didn't have to do. They could have phoned this one in easily and it would have sold like crazy. But I love this. Love this.
Yeah. I've already been under Discord and talked about this, but I already pre-ordered this, but I did buy the standard. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest why I did it. The only reason I did it was because it's just the shelf space. I just needed something a little smaller. Yeah. But every time I see this thing, I am kicking myself in the ass for it, because I'm like, I know it's Second Sight. They always do an amazing job. The book is going to be amazing. The box looks incredible.
Right.
I just was like, I need to think about space.
You're smart. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm angry at myself. I feel like I let myself down. I'm not gonna lie. I let myself down. Okay.
Well, if this wasn't enough, they usually announce things in pairs, and they also announced Talk to Me coming on 4K and Blu-ray. This one coming on June 16th over in the UK. Whoops, did not mean to click twice, and of course, it takes a second to fix. There we go.
No one saw that. That didn't happen.
Look the other way. I really liked Talk to Me when it came out. Did you see this one?
Oh, yeah. I have it back here. I got a 4K of it as well already.
Oh, the A24 one. Nice.
This is an A24. I think this is just like a standard studio one. Or maybe it is. No, it is A24. You're right. But it's not one of their, it's not their cool. Yeah. It's not the cool one, is what I'm trying to say, guys. Okay. I know. I didn't get the cool one.
You didn't get the umbrella one with the hand that you could graffiti.
Which, though it's on sale now, and I saw it and I was like, But again, I'm like, where am I going to put that hand? I don't know where I'm going to put that thing.
I don't need to know.
It's too much. But yes, I saw this in the theater and I loved it. I thought this was incredible. That opening, one of the incredible opening, opening scene.
That party scene, yeah.
What a like a statement opening to a film.
Oh, yeah. Especially for newcomer directors. Obviously, they've been doing stuff for a long time, but their first feature, it's pretty crazy.
Unless you're Stan, who just couldn't finish it.
And then Colton, who says, I'd rather rewatch Hard Eyes than Talk to Me.
Yeah. is. It would be, it's a tough watch, but I thought it was incredibly good film. So I already had it, so that's why I talked myself out of not ordering it from Second Sight, because I was like, I already have it, so I can't.
Understandable.
And I have it on 4K, so I can't. There's no reason. There's no upgrade situation, but I'm sure this is going to be amazing. So, because Second Sight always kills it whenever they do anything, and I don't think I own a special edition of theirs. Everything I have is standard.
Oh wow!
I have the standard of Martin and a couple other movies, but they're just the standards. They don't have a special edition.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me, Ryan. I don't know. I'm here because I want some therapy. I need.
Not that I'm trying to talk you into it. Is there like, if it was like one of your favorite movies, would you spring for that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nice Guys, absolutely one of my. I love that movie, and I still talk myself out of it just because of the shelf space. But I'm kicking myself. Like I definitely would. If they put out another movie like Nice Guys that I just adore, I'm going to do it. Because I really want their special features.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, they do great stuff. They do great work. So, and I know I'd pull it out and I'd look at it and I'd feel good about myself, and yet I didn't do it. I don't know. I'm trying to grow up, and it's hard, Ryan.
One thing I do want to say about Talk to Me that really impressed me, which continues what I feel like is a push forward in quality, which I've talked about on the show before. So sorry for everybody that's heard me say this like 9 times. The sound design on this film is freaking incredible.
Absolutely. Having seen it in the theater too, it really does bounce back and forth. It's an incredible sound design. And Colton, I just want to say, I see your message that you couldn't handle the dumb choices. For me, and this is only because, excuse me, that's only because I'm very old. But I was like, these were dumb decisions that you would make as a teenager.
Right.
They were acting like dumb teenagers. I totally agree with you. They're making dumb choices. But I was like, because this is teenagers, when they find out there's something that you are going to go into, the dead will come into your body and stuff, that they would be like, I don't know, let's get everybody together and try it. Like, that's the dumb thing that teens would do. So to me, it was like, I was all in on it. I realize what they're doing is stupid, but that's what teens do. They do stupid shit.
On top of that, like, the whole metaphor of the movie is literally all the people doing that are under the influence.
Right.
So that is going to color some of these choices also. Right. So
of course.
Got to take that into effect.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. For me, I'm not, if you didn't dig it, that's totally cool. But I mean, but for me, I was all bought in because I was like, stupid kid. I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I loved slasher movies, and like,
right.
What are slashers but kids doing the stupidest, making the dumbest decisions? And it's like, you got all the Friday the 13th, and it's just kids making stupid decisions time and time again. That's all it is. I mean, so I don't know. For me, I was didn't bother me.
So this one, totally forgot I haven't said anything yet. Dolby Vision, of course. We've got new audio commentary with Emma Westwood and Sally Christie. Audio commentary that was ported over from the directors. New interview with the directors as well. New interview with the producer. New interview with the cinematographer. Kat Ellinger speaks on Talk to Me in a visual essay, some archival featurettes, and then, of course, 120-page book with new essays by Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, Kat Hughes, Megan Navarro, Cecilia Sayad, Rebecca Sace, and Amber T. Hell of a lineup there. Good looking stuff.
Yeah. I wish I hadn't rushed out and got my copy of it already, because otherwise I would pick this up.
Hey, on the bright side, you can sell that one for like $6 if you
It's worthless. Isn't that good to know? This thing taking up room up here, it has no value. Has no real value.
Perfect. Absolutely what you needed. Via Vision, who is the parent company of Imprint, announced some upcoming titles. May 28th, we're getting a Blu-ray in Australia of The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad from 1958. This is coming in one of their 3D lenticular hard cases with some art cards as well. There's a bunch of stuff that's been on some of the other releases recently for this, but this is just going to be like the perfect combination of extras to come out in Australia for the first time for this film. Looks like a fun release. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people probably already have the Indicator, which is it's still going to be the better release of this film, probably.
And I have the indicator. I think I didn't get the box. I got like the individual one, and honestly, It's still wrapped. I still haven't watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Sinbad. This is just right here. I'm going right. I own this. Yeah, I gotta watch that.
I remember clicking purchase and shit.
I really gotta watch that one. You know.
Next up is the Wolfman collection. They had done another one of these for one of the other monsters recently, but this one is covering 1935 to 56. Again, a 3-disc lenticular hard case box set with the art cards. So this one has the Wolfman from 1941. Look at that. Oh, but it's just the Blu-rays. Look at you.
I know, right? Well, I got this years ago, so this was like a birthday gift to myself. Got a bunch of the Universal ones, the Universal sets.
This also has Werewolf of London from 35, and then it also has She-Wolf of London from 46. There are some new extras in here, including new commentary by Tom Weaver on one, new commentary by Tim Lucas on another one. The original Wolfman has all kinds of extras on there. There's just a lot. There's a lot coming in this box set, so I'm glad this is getting released.
Yeah, definitely getting a 4K upgrade on those would be worthwhile for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. Like those are great. I mean, Wolfman is great. I've shown like every Halloween, I'll show the kids like yet another like Universal. That's always like something we watch, and they're always like, "Oh, black and white," and then we start the movie, and they eventually just shut up and watch the whole thing and get totally caught up in it. So I'm like, yeah, you know.
I think it's finally the year to start doing that with my kids, and I'm so stoked. I cannot wait for like September to start getting that going.
Yeah.
Next is the film that everybody was wanting a deluxe edition of from Australia, of course, and that is Prom Night from 2008. So, yeah, we got a 3D lenticular hard case.
Sure. Yeah, the 2008 one. Oh, right. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They
of course,
remake that.
This will have the theatrical version and the unrated version. It does have audio commentaries and all kinds of other stuff that's on here. But for a lot of people, this movie is just bad.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. But I get it if you're also like, I mean, there's a lot of, it's tough to sift through the 2000s. The horror was having a tough time, and there was it was remake city at that time, and you got this. But there's certainly some nostalgia though for that era and for that sort of like a lot of the aesthetic choices they made. My dog will not stay in one place. So I get it if people want to like watch that, but this is, from what I recall, is a very much not a good remake. Of all those remakes, there are better ones, to my mind.
Yeah, there are much better remakes.
But, to the chat, I also like Talk to Me. So I don't know. I mean, don't listen to what I say.
I like Hard Eyes, so I'm awful, obviously. Let's keep going. I forgot this was in here. The Minecraft movie from this year can be purchased already in a 4K steelbook that
already,
just like the film, has a lot going on in a very ADHD fashion on the cover.
Yeah, I mean, I have to get this because my kids loved it. They loved the movie. And they play Minecraft all the time, and they totally loved it. Look, hey, here's the thing about it, and something I've been thinking about. Studios are having a tough time with movies, and this is a perfect example. And I know like a lot of people maybe in the chat are like, ugh, Minecraft, and that's fine. But I'm already at an age where like I have children, and so I'm watching them get, they're getting movies that are like for them. Some of the people that watch some of the Marvel movies, like I remember watching Shang-Chi in the theater. And our son at the time was so into that ending. And I thought the ending of that movie was awful. It was real bad. It was a great 3/4. And then the last fourth was just so dumb. But my son stood out of his seat and was loving it. And I was like, yeah, because it's not for me.
Right.
It's for him. And Minecraft's not for me, but it's for them. And quite frankly, we're having trouble getting people to go into the damn movie theater. And I don't want that experience to die. So please make Minecraft movies, because kids went to see it and they loved it. So say nothing of the quality. I certainly think we can make quality movies too, but I also haven't seen it, so I can't really say what the quality is. But yeah, target the kids. Get them into the movie theater. Get them to get out and say, Mom and Dad, take me to the movies. That's what we need. That's what we need. In order to save this industry, we need it. So as much as we may be like, ugh, Minecraft, hey man, everyone buy Minecraft. We need this. We need this kind of movie to do what it did, which it made $1 gazillion. That's what we need.
I saw multiple people in this industry that were openly, publicly lamenting that IP and remakes and all that, the same BS argument that we've heard so many times. They were pissed that this made a lot of money. And my whole thought was, just a few weeks ago, you were talking about how sad it was that nobody goes to the theater.
Yeah.
We can't keep talking out of both sides of our mouth on this. If you want people to go to the theater, be excited that people are going to the theater. Sure. Is this going to get people to watch LeRose or something like that is not going to be related to this at all? Probably not. But it will get people interested in making an experience out of going to the theater.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to go see just about everything if I can. And I don't have all the time in the world, but I'd love Brendan. I laughed at that. He hated it so much. And look, hey, Brendan, maybe it's not for you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, Death of a Unicorn, I enjoyed it. But those are also movies I think we have to go see. Go see it. Even if you don't like it, go see it. We need those like little movies to survive. Everybody talks about the mid-level movie. How many people are running out to see Black Bag?
Right.
Maybe you won't like it, but that's a mid-level movie like we used to make. $50 million to make, 60 million negative pickup. That's all they have to do in order to make money is clear 60 million plus whatever the advertising was. Like they used to make movies like that all the time.
And now those were the box office hits on that point.
Yeah, that's great. And they still won't figure out that like you don't have to make a $250 million movie. And then in fact, it can be really financially not great for you. So
I'm shocked.
But people aren't going out to see that kind of stuff. So if at least they're getting not targeting, I think, being Gen X myself, I feel like a lot of the past 10 years has been the Gen X. That's right, Stan. Somebody's favorite. The Gen X, nostalgia machine has sort of been going for the past 10 years. And I'm like, if there's one of the generations that really doesn't give a shit if you pander them, in fact, they kind of reject you pandering to them, it's Gen X. We don't want your nostalgia machine. Stop serving me stuff. And I've been saying this for years. Stop trying to give me things that you think I want. You don't know what I want. I actually just want you to make new things. I don't care that you're giving me a million Ghostbusters or whatever.
Beetlejuice.
But, yeah, I mean, stop. Just leave it alone. And not a terrible movie. And as a matter of fact, our daughter it really got into Beetlejuice and Tim Burton movies, and so she had a whole birthday. Her whole birthday was surrounded with going to see Beetlejuice. So I'm glad it skipped. It's going to the next generation. That's great. But a lot of times it doesn't transition to the next generation. Like Snow White or something. So, I mean, really, for me to have gone to see Snow White would have been it skipping a couple generations for the people that were nostalgic for Snow White, quite frankly. But like target the kids. That's what I'm trying to say. Target the kids. Get people to go out there.
Maybe let's not say target the kids after we mentioned the remake of Snow White.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Right. Let's keep going because that was a probably terrible joke to make. Coming soon on Blu-ray in the U.S. from Kino is Cop or Hood from 1979 with Jean-Paul Belmondo. I know nothing about this movie, but goddamn, this is a crazy kinetic poster, and I love this.
I cannot wait to buy that movie and add it to the growing collection of Jean-Paul Belmondo movies that I own and have not seen.
Maybe that could be highlighted
wait.
by New World in some random ass thing.
My own shelf of just Jean-Paul Belmondo movies that I will one day watch. But yeah, that poster looks amazing. So
yeah,
I'm probably going to get it.
And then they also announced coming soon on Blue is the film Boomerang from 1976. This is with Alain Delon. Again, know nothing about this. Just some French cinema that sounds great.
I don't know. I don't think I want to watch a movie about a couple guys coming on a boomerang. Just feels like not. that feels inappropriate.
That feels like a joke you wrote on Monday and have been holding on to.
No, I sadly just came up with it in the moment, which maybe doesn't speak well of my improv skills. But
no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I don't know this one either.
I wish I did. I probably do need to know some French cinema better. Next up is a film coming from VCI. This is coming on July 15th on Blue in the US, and it is First Love from 1970. This is one that had a pretty poor DVD, so I know a lot of people are actually excited to be getting this on Blu-ray. This is a love story by the masterful Russian author Ivan Turgenev, has been made into an exquisite, internationally acclaimed film, a bittersweet study of a 16-year-old boy who becomes infatuated with an impoverished princess during an era of social decay and impending revolution. This got a new 4K restoration from VCI. We got a brand new audio commentary by Rob Kelly, and a new video featurette by John Mulder Brown, and another new video featurette called Dominique Sanda, the enigmatic muse of cinema, and another new video featurette. VCI does not normally do stuff like that, so man, they are going all in on this. I'm excited to see new features. I'm excited to see a 4K restoration. This sounds like it could be a pretty good release.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a big fan of VCI, right?
I like what they do, but I will say this, because we're going to talk about them again in just a second. They, for years, rested on the laurels of just, hey, we're getting titles that nobody else does. And they would put out, like BDRs that were hastily thrown together with printer, toner covered terrible sleeves of like really great Mexican cinema films that nobody else would ever touch. And they're treating them like crap. But nowadays, the last couple of years, they've actually been doing much better. They've been doing new restorations. They've been putting actual care into their releases. I'm pretty stoked, especially with like their silent film releases. They've been doing some great stuff with the Mary Pickford organization.
Okay. Well, yeah. I did not know this movie, so I'm certainly curious. I have a couple of stuff from VCI. I know I have Blood and Black Lace. That was like the first one I got until the 4K came out, and then I got the 4K. But there's extra features in that one that aren't on the 4K, so I still have both.
Yep.
But you're right. It has that really flimsy paper on that one. It's not. You're like, it looks a little cheap, but it wasn't terrible to look at. Obviously, it's not comparable to the 4K now, but which was a lot better, but I still kept it.
The big one that a lot of people in this hobby have from VCI, they are still like the only release on Blu-ray of Dark Star from John Carpenter. So that's what a lot of people, they want to be complete. So they pick up that one from VCI for like $11 on Amazon and call it a day. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I still have it, and then I don't know if I've rewatched it. So, but yeah, I had to have all the John Carpenters. So,
of course.
I mean, you got to.
Next up, May 26th, over in the UK, we are getting a Blu-ray and DVD of The Last Showgirl that came out last year. This is the Pamela Anderson film, who supposedly is incredible in this movie. Did you go to see this one?
I didn't. This is one of a handful, like The Beast that I showed earlier that I bought. I tried to see almost every 2024 movie, and then I went on the VHS podcast and did like my favorites of the year. This was one I tried to sneak in. I had a screener from SAG, but I just didn't have time. Just haven't had time. And now I think it is streaming, so I do want to check it out.
Yeah, I think it is streaming. I'm just kind of shocked that we haven't gotten an announcement for Blue in the US, which makes me worried that it's probably not going to get one.
Yeah, who owns it? I think is it on Prime, I think, maybe?
Maybe.
Because I'm like, if it's on Prime, it wouldn't make any sense for them not to put it out because of Amazon.
Yeah, and Picture House is putting it out over there, so it's not even like the studio doing it. So I'm not sure who's getting it. Madman's doing it in Australia too. Thanks, Paul.
Oh wow!
Yeah, geez. Oh. Australia, where physical media is being forgotten, is getting one, and we don't even get one.
Oh, okay. So it is. It's like for rent, basically. So it's not streaming like. As we like to say, titles. For free, but yeah, so it's not one of their titles. So yeah, that is weird that I don't know, maybe what's the studio that put it out? Are they not interested? It's not like a Netflix film, so it's not like
no, definitely not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Mystery.
Cult
Somebody
Epics.
figure it out, guys. Let us know. Get back to us.
Please, yeah. June 24th, Cult Epics is releasing a double feature of Mysteries and Pastoral 1943. These are both from 1978, coming on June 24th. This will have a new 2K remaster on Mysteries and audio commentary by Jeremy Ritchie and Peter Verstatten on that one. It's got some interviews, including with Rutger Hauer, Sylvia Christel, and Paul de Lucenet. And then for Pastoral, another new 2K transfer, audio commentary by Peter Verstraeten, interview with Sylvia Christel, interview with Sylvia Christel and Derek DeLint, and then a photo gallery. I've never heard of either of these movies, but Rutger Hauer and Sylvia Christel definitely has me interested.
Oh, yeah. I don't know these movies either, but I think these are like, they're in Dutch and everything too, right? So
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so when this got announced, I was kind of like, oh, I would definitely pick this up because I don't know these films. I'd be interested. I lived in Holland for a while, so I don't know much of Rutger Hauer's career. I haven't watched a lot of the Verhoeven stuff he did before he went stateside, so I'll definitely grab these and check them out. I was looking for you on the back, trying to see if you guys. I know you guys maybe might be working with Cold Epics at some point, so I don't know.
No, we are doing the 4 Obayashi titles that were announced, and I can just straight come out and say that I've been helping produce those releases. I'm as far as I know, I'm not even on the extras yet. We've not decided that. So
yeah, but I'm curious about these. I'm very interested, and I'd love to see Rutger Hauer. And I don't think I've even seen him speak Dutch, which would be wild. I don't know if people know Dutch very well, but it's a rough language to listen to.
Yeah, that's going to make everybody want to run out and buy these.
Yeah, but you should. I will say just quickly as an aside, I took my now wife when we were living there. We went on a weekend vacation. We went to Germany, and we were like, "Oh, look how lovely the accents are here," because we were so used to the Dutch accents, which is really a very harsh and guttural sound when people, speak Dutch. And so it was like, finally, this sonorous, beautiful, lilting sound of German of all languages.
Ronnie is pointing out The Last Showgirl was produced by Utopia, distributed by Roadside Attractions.
So maybe it's going to go to OCN?
It could get a Utopia release. That seems possible.
But Roadside Attractions is, who are they owned by? I think they might have a lot of the Roadside actually might own a lot of the New World stuff post Corman.
Oh wow.
I think they are the ones that maybe own that. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I don't know who owns them, but
all right.
It's not
Third
Lionsgate,
window,
right? Or something?
No, I don't think it's Lionsgate. Third window over in the UK is releasing The Boxman from 2024. This is coming on Blu-ray on June 30th. This is from the same director who did The Electric Dragon 80,000 Volts and The Crazy Family. This is Gakurui, I believe is how you say it, Ishii. He is supposedly amazing, and I really want to see this. I think this is a bold slipcover design for this. I think it's really funny. This sounds really interesting. It says a man with a cardboard box over his head wanders the streets of Tokyo, peering at the world through a peephole. He incessantly writes down in a notebook what he can see. Sounds fun. There's a feature-length audio commentary by the one and only Tom Mess, cast and crew talk event, cast comments from inside the box, director Q&A at the Japan Society. Third window does great work. This sounds like a fun release.
So it's like about a creep.
I mean, not spying on people.
I mean, I know. I'm just making a joke. I
I knew that. I was just trying to soften the blow.
Yeah, sure. For the Boxmen crowd who were like, "Damn you! Why'd you bring this guy on?" By the way, Roadside Attractions is 43% owned by Lionsgate.
It is Lionsgate.
So, 43%. So not a majority share, but they are partially owned by Lionsgate. Oh, Ronnie had the same fact. So there you go.
I am wondering who I was thinking of then.
So that still doesn't make any. I mean, unless Lionsgate is holding out for their limited editions, but they seem to be doing just more of the older films, with the exception of what's the one they released? the Gerard Butler movie that just came out. The exception of that, that's in all their limited stuff. They haven't put out anything new except for the.
Right. That's a good.
Why I'm forgetting the title. This is great podcasting.
I'm not even sure which one we're talking about.
It's the one with O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Gerard Butler. They put out a steelbook of both the two movies. The second one just came out.
Oh, got it. Den of Thieves?
Den of Thieves, yes. Which I didn't get to see the second one. I love the first one. But yeah, that's one of the newest ones they put out. Other than that, Lionsgate's putting out Basic Instinct, and they put out the Tarantino movies. And so, yeah, thank you, Paul. Sorry, had a real brain fart there. So yeah, I don't know if they're thinking of The Last Showgirl, saving it for that, or I don't know.
All right.
What would the box man have said about The Last Showgirl? I wonder. What did he write down in his little book?
Why didn't he go walk around the streets of Vegas? You'll probably see much more interesting things. Moving right along. Speaking of companies just re-releasing steelbooks, June 24th, Neon is putting out a 4K steelbook in the U.S. of Longlegs. Now, of course, the thing that they do to get you, this does have brand new extras already compared to the release that just came out 6 months ago. I do like the style that they're going with on the steelbook here. I don't need it. I already own Longlegs. In fact, I already own a Longleg steelbook. I don't need another steelbook of this just to see new extras.
That's good that they at least put in new extras, though, because you got to give them credit because so many companies are just re-releasing and not doing anything other than
hard agree.
Yeah, agree. But I don't own this, and I don't know if I will. But maybe I like the sleeve and how it. Yeah, I kind of dig that. So if I was going to get one, it might be this. But I don't think I will because I didn't love the ending. But that's just me.
See, Pam, but this is longer legs. Well, then I'll wait till next year when it's longest legs.
I will say that watching the monkey gave me nostalgia for Longlegs. I was like, you know what? Maybe I was a little too harsh on Longlegs. Maybe I should go back and watch it because I didn't like the monkey even more. So, but that's just me.
I love that we were just talking about Lionsgate putting out older titles. May 20th, 4K steelbook coming out of Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx. I don't think I ever caught this one. Did you see this one?
Back in the day, I don't remember a thing about it. But you know what? When it comes to giving the people what they want, I mean, look, in our house, we love Gerard Butler.
He's good, yeah.
I love him. I love his terrible American accent. It's great. And we saw Geostorm in the theater, my wife and I, an absolute classic. I go see just about anything. Cop Shop. He's great in Cop Shop. He's good in Den of Thieves. Law Abiding Citizen, I don't recall being a great movie, but it's been a long time. Been a long time since I've seen it. This is right before he went into the Has Fallen series.
Right.
So for context, and Gamer, right around that era.
I'll get you the special edition of P.S. I Love You when it comes out.
Thank you.
In fact,
Thank you.
I was about to make a joke about this. What do you think about Gerard Butler and Phantom of the Opera?
Not the best singer. It's really weird casting, but I know he was an unknown at the time.
Yeah.
I would rather throw in, if I want to watch that era of Gerard Butler, the beginnings, I'd rather watch Dracula 2000.
I don't know if that's a hot take or not. All right.
He's I mean, Dracula, have you seen it? You've seen Dracula. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's awesome. It's amazing.
All right. Here we go.
So if you lived through the 90s at any point in time, there's scenes that take place in a Virgin Megastore, Ryan.
That's true. That is true.
God, my God, is that like there's almost no better movie of 90s nostalgia than that.
I spent many a day in a Virgin Megastore, the LA Tower Records.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to diss Hackers. My apologies. Hackers is also prime 90s nostalgia. My apologies.
It's pretty great.
It's not. I agree, Craig.
This next one, I feel bad because I texted Will the picture of this cover this week, and all it did was piss him off and say, why couldn't we be on this release? June 16th, we are getting a 4K over in the UK from Studio Canal as part of their Vintage Classics line of Darling from 1965. This is the Julie Christie vehicle that I am stoked is getting a bunch of new extras. Of course, I already own the Umbrella Special Edition, but I will have to buy the 4K of this as well because it looks pretty great and a ton of new extras. 64-page booklet on this. Sofia Coppola speaks on the film. Let's call it Darling. There's an interview here with Frederick Raphael. Julie Harris's costumes for Darling gets a discussion here. There's a lot. This looks like a fun release. How do you feel about this cover art?
Not a fan, if I may say. Not a fan of this. And I think we spoke about the Umbrella release on the first time I was on the show. I want to say, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't love this artwork. She's looking out a wet window. What kind of water streaks down like that if it's in the rain? I don't care for that artwork. The special features all sound great, and you're speaking so well of the movie. I'm sure it's probably a great movie. I haven't seen it, but this art is not drawing me in, I gotta say.
I'm glad that you say you don't like it, because this has been the most divisive art that I've seen announced in the last couple of weeks. There's so many people that hate this. I love this. I think it's really fun design. Oh. The water streaking isn't great, but it's very striking imagery for this movie. Usually the art that comes with this is very specifically not this style, and I truly love the way that it's done. But yeah, a lot of people hate this. Completely understand where you're coming from.
I don't love it, but at the same time, I love that anyone's commissioning art. I mean, for one, I always want to start at that place. Our daughter's draws nonstop. It's all she does. She loves to do art, and she's just getting so good. But I see something like this, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe my daughter ought to be doing some artwork for releases, because I don't know. I mean, she could definitely do as good as this if this is good to people. So
I'm gonna take a page out of your promotion book and give a big tease here.
Ooh.
Next week, first time guest on Reconnected, one of a designer of cover arts. This is the first time I've had an artist on the show ever.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of the most, we'll say, I don't really want to say prolific, because he's done a lot of other stuff, but I'm going to say artist for one of the most well-known poster cover arts in the last 20 years in physical media is going to be the guest on next week's Reconnected.
Well,
I'm so stoked. I can't
That's
wait.
Awesome. That is awesome to hear. Good for you, man. Congrats.
Going to be a good time. So yeah, check out Studio Canal. Their Vintage Classics line, kind of amazing. What they're doing for it has been really great. The quality on these discs are pretty damn good. Studio Canal stepped up on that. Yeah,
I haven't been unhappy with any of the Studio Canal stuff. I got their version of the trial.
Oh yeah, solid disc.
Really good. I've really been enjoying their stuff. So, maybe I'll check this out. Art be damned.
It's not really the same boat as Darling, but I'm still sort of pissed off that 4, maybe 5 years ago now, Studio Canal hinted that they were going to be putting out a 4K disc for Near Dark, and have never done that. And I'm desperate for it. The old Blu-ray for that looks god awful, and we need a brand new release of that. Brand new.
Let's hope Cameron doesn't get anywhere near it. But yeah. I know that he and Bigelow used to be a thing, but yeah, Near Dark is one of those classics. I have seen Near Dark probably more times on VHS than I have any other medium. So I don't know if I would be as allergic to the Blu-ray as maybe you might be, but still, as soon as somebody puts out that 4K, that's instant purchase. That's an all-time classic, that movie.
Brilliant film.
Yeah,
genuinely
absolutely
brilliant movie.
Amazing. It's no Dracula 2000, but it's pretty good.
Oh man, all I'll shit on the Blu-ray specifically is the first.
Don't shit on the Blu-ray. Don't shit on the Blu-ray. Just shit in the toilet.
It helps for transporting.
Your shit? Where are you taking it, Ryan?
The first 8 minutes of that movie are Outside at night, filmed at night, and the lighting is awful. The Blu-ray, like you can barely make out what's in the picture. A 4K disc of that with proper HDR, oh man, would be astonishing change.
For sure.
All right. That was a long discussion about shit.
And the soundtrack. That's right, Craig.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Tangerine Dream. You're welcome, Paul. All right, moving right along. We talked about A24 a few minutes ago. In May, they are shipping a Blu-ray release of Queer from last year. This kind of took some people by surprise because they seemed to indicate possibly that this was maybe going to get a 4K, but it's only getting a Blu-ray. I say only kind of liberally here because it's not really that surprising. A lot of the titles they put out are quote only Blu-ray, but it's getting a release, and it'll probably do very well for them because Luca is quite beloved. This is supposedly a great movie. I've not been able to see it yet. Luca does the commentary for this. The costume designer is on there, as well as the writer, the editor, production designer. There's a featurette on the making of. There's a scene breakdown, visual effects breakdown, miniature behind the scenes, and even a music video. This looks like a pretty great release.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie either. This is one I didn't get to see again at the end of last year. It was in theaters for like 2 weeks out here. It was barely out, but I was trying to see if I could see it in the movie theater. I read the book way back in the day, back when Naked Lunch was coming out, which is one of my favorites. I love Cronenberg's movie. Yeah. And I wanted to read the book. So now, understand, kids, there was no Amazon then. And so I had to go to the bookstore to try to get these to get the book, and they did not have Naked Lunch, but they did have Queer. So I got that instead, and I read it, and it's a lot of taking drugs and then having sex with dudes, and it's like, I just was a little like, okay. I mean, I was in high school, so look, if there's a lot of deeper meanings out of all that, right? I was probably not getting that, but so also when I saw that this movie was coming out and it was based on the book, I was like, oh yeah, well. I remembered the book. I wasn't as into the book. That's right, son. What's a book? What is books? What are books? But yeah, I would like to see this because, it's been a long time since I even read the book. So, and Luca's great. So I'd love to see it. And Daniel Craig, I think he has done such a good job post Bond. Like he's really, really challenging himself. And I love that about him. So, I'm sure it's got great performances. I'm sure it'll look great. Luca's stuff sometimes runs a little hot and cold for me, but he always makes it look great. So, I'd be very interested in this.
I don't know how, but I've never seen any Luca film other than Suspiria. Oh. I don't, it's just, I want to, it's just never been sat down before me, put down with a 2.5 hour time frame. I don't know. I've not watched Call Me By Your Name. Don't know how I haven't seen Challengers specifically. All of the people that I trust their opinions on loved Challengers last year.
Challengers is really good. Challengers is really, really good. And it's got some of the most, as a fan of tennis, I can say I've never seen a tennis match more exciting than the one at the end. But it's a really, really good. It's a good movie. But yeah, that's a tough thing for me too because his movies are so long. They're so long.
Right.
Yeah. Let's quit the show and go watch
me neither, and I'm queer, so I'm worse. I mean, you don't have to be worse, and we're all at least a little queer. It's a spectrum.
Oh yeah.
Challengers sucks. Don't start there. I love that Paul just said literally stop the show and go watch Challengers, and then Brian says Challengers sucks. Wow. Wow. And Kev says Luca's 0 for 5.
Ooh. That makes sense, Kevin. You are a pretty particular dude.
That's true.
You're very particular about the movies. God knows I went on Kevin's show and they hated both the movies I brought to him. Hated it.
Somehow I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
Wow.
0.5 stars. Wild.
I don't even remember. I may have given like 1 or 2 movies 0.5 stars. That's... Whew.
I will say that for challenges for me, it didn't make like my favorites list. I thought it was really good performances and really liked it, loved the style to it, enjoyed it as a good dramatic film. As a story, thank you. You're right, Kevin. You did stick up for Made. A Year of the Gun, though, everybody was like, "Boo!"
3 thumbs down.
Yeah. And so anyway, so the story to me wasn't something that really moved me or involved me, but
Right.
I think for like, it's sort of like a younger person's, like, people trying to figure themselves out and then falling for people and, all those kinds of things. I just didn't get as into the story, but I think it's still a really good movie, really well done. And the performances are extremely good. So I don't know. I didn't think it was 0.5 stars. I'll just say that.
Oh man. Let's see. Let's go to our next one. Oh boy.
Yeah.
May 13th.
Speaking of quality films, you know what I mean?
May 13th, Disney is doing a 4K Blu-ray and DVD in the US of Captain America Brave New World. What'd you think of this one, Ryan?
Not good. I saw this in the movie theater. Took the kids. And Way of the Gun. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I said Year of the Gun. That's Frankenheimer, right? Anyway. Yeah, I took the kids. I like Marvel. I was a Marvel kid growing up. I don't know what story. This movie, I'll just say this. This was like my Letterboxd review. This just had studio notes imprinted all over it. It just felt like a movie made by committee, and it wasn't really about anything,
Not to mention, how do you spoil like the only twist in this film in all of the marketing?
I guess they didn't think that by going after the leader, which is another reveal, but I don't know if everyone was like, oh crap, they went back to the Incredible Hulk. A lot of people don't even see that one.
Right.
So I thought it was I don't mind that they go back to that movie and try to bring up a bunch of stuff, but there's so much in the TV show, and I watched the TV shows as well, and I really was hoping that Sam would have like a great film. The TV show I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just really dragged themselves down with the Incredible Hulk stuff. And I know there's a lot of reshoots. I don't think I think my guess would be that they started out with a certain story and they kind of peeled it back. But I agree with you. When the movie has an ending and that's the ending and they spoil it in the trailers, and then the end fight is like fine. It's like, that's a drag. Because I would have gone way heavier with the fact that Harrison Ford's in the MCU and gone heavier with the bad guy in it that's coming back from the Incredible Hulk, and then make the Hulk thing like an actual surprise. But instead they went right for it. And there's just not a lot in the movie that you can then say, well, I don't care because there's XYZ. If there were other things in it that made up for that, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal, but they don't.
Yeah, and I don't know, the villain they brought back is not even good. He looks awful in this movie.
Yeah.
But that's probably my biggest take here. Is my problem with this movie primarily is the visuals are atrocious. They have gotten so much worse over the years. There are aspects of Infinity War and Endgame that were clearly done in a studio, obviously against everything green screen, that look better than stuff filmed on location in this film. I don't understand how certain scenes that are not green screen in this look like they filmed it. I don't know, it on like a cheap, like an Android phone that you would buy at T-Mobile that's not even put out by Samsung or Google or anybody like with the name. It looked piss poor, awful.
They've done this before, Marvel, so many times that I think that they're starting to always think that they can just throw a tree or a rock here in the green screen studio that they're shooting all this stuff and it'll come out great in the end. And they've had success with that. And you look at like Endgame and you look at some of those things that they've had success with that. But the big ending set piece of that movie is this fight amongst um, shit, guys. In that whole, like, cherry blossom and all that, and I agree. I've seen video games that look better. It just looked bad. It looked bad. And it was really hard to get into it. And I just felt like, what a disappointment, because I really was hoping that Anthony Mackie would have would have a really good first movie for him. And this was a bit of a letdown.
And to me, at least, I don't know about you, Mackie was fine in it. He wasn't like anywhere near the bad part of this film.
He's not the problem, for sure. No, he did very well. It's just, what are they doing? Stan, I like that you enjoyed Brave New World. I'm glad. I'm honestly very glad. I'm glad that people liked it. I think I try not to say anything around my kids about what I think of it is, because I want them to have their opinion. But I did mention I thought the end fight scene was kind of bad, and my son was like, "Oh, I liked it," and I was like, "Oh, oops," because I was like, I don't want to mess his opinion about it. If he liked it, great. I want him to like it. These are movies that, again, should be targeted for him. So
exactly.
But I didn't have fun, and I really want to like all these movies. I really do. I'm a big Marvel guy, but just couldn't get into it.
Stan says, "I guess I'm just a big kid." Well, keep living that up, Stan. You're fine. If you want a special release of Brave New World, this is pretty rad. Walmart is putting out this pop-up edition slipcover. Again, weird choice because it's only the Blu-ray version, but I do like that they're doing this. This is a cool design.
So this is just a Blu-ray? This isn't a 4K?
Correct. If you want the special 4K, you got to buy this Steelbook, which I got to be honest, decent design. They don't spoil the reveal anywhere in the art. I think this looks decent.
It does look good. It does look good. And if it goes on Hamilton Book, I'll get it.
Sadly, it never will. It'll probably be, I don't know, $55 when it goes up for pre-order on Monday. And
oh yeah.
Fuck
yeah. So expensive. It's crazy.
All right.
But I have most of the Marvel movies. I still own them anyway, but
I have all of them on Steelbooks, I think. Well, not all of them. I haven't gotten the last couple. I lost quite a lot of interest. All right. Radiance announced some stuff this week, which is some good stuff. July 21st in the UK, July 22nd in North America, they are putting out Rosa LeRose. I'm not French. Fil Public, I think. Should know this one. I do not. 2K restoration done on this one. Interview with the critic David Jenkins. Some archival stuff pieced together on this one. Limited edition booklet with new interviews. Archival writing. Cannot read. Archival interviews and new writing by Marina Asciati. Looks like a decent release for this film that I know nothing about. But it's Radiance, so it's probably an incredible.
It's Radiance. So it's got to be something good. I'm not a big fan of Rosé, but I'll give the movie a shot. They've got a good track record, so as much as I don't like that wine, I will try it.
Not to mention, they've got Pierre Casco, who was an American Werewolf in Paris. So it's going to be incredible.
Have you seen that movie recently?
Not recently, no. I kind of told myself I would never watch it again.
If anybody has ever seen Museum of Home Video, my friend Brett Berg does that. If anyone's seen it. And he did at Vidiots, he did a whole show where he does like a faster piece theater where he takes movies and he just edits them down to like half an hour chunks or whatever. And it wasn't his, but I saw a bunch of them. He did like several, and it had a couple of other guests that also did some of these, and we saw it in Vidiots. And they did American Werewolf in Paris. And honestly, I wouldn't watch that movie again, but I would watch that Faster Piece Theater edition of it again, like in a heartbeat. It was so good because they just got to all the real good stuff. And it was such a reminder of like, oh my God, that movie was so bad. And I was so pumped for it, I remember at the time, because I love the original, But anyway, shout out to Faster Piece Theater.
Well, and beyond that, shout out to Museum of Home Video. If you are unsure who they are, Brett was on the show last 4th of July here in this room with me.
Wow.
He was here he did a live Museum of Home Video here in Kansas City. And it was incredible. Everybody should go be a part of the Patreon. You can watch his stuff literally every single time he does it. It's one of the best Patreons out there. Really good stuff. Yeah,
I'm on a Patreon because I can't always make it to the Tuesday night live shows. It's just kind of hard to make. So I just watch him later. So, but yeah, Brett's a great guy, and his show is so fascinating every single time.
Brett is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, going to our next Radiance. The Beast to Die. This is from 1985. This is also coming in the UK and the US and / North America, whatever. On the same dates, July 21st and July 22nd. This got a 4K restoration by Katakawa, the production company over in Japan. This has an interview with Toru Murakawa from 2025, so brand new. Interview with Shoichi Marauyama. It's probably the wrong way to say that. Critical appreciation from novelist and screenwriter.
I think you nailed it.
Probably exactly how they say it in Japan. That's all I'm going to say.
I felt transported. So
transported. Oh God! There's also a booklet with this one, of course, with new writing by Tetsuya Masudo. This sounds and looks fantastic. This is maybe the one I'm most interested in from this month's announcements. This looks great.
This again, when Radiance puts stuff out, it's just me throwing that bucket of popcorn because I'm just like, damn it! Like, how do they keep finding these movies? It's like same with Deaf Crocodile. That just drives me crazy. I'm like, how are you finding this stuff? This is incredible. Right. Like stuff I've never heard of. And I'm like, I'm probably going to get it at some point. Like, it's like, I don't know how they do it. It's just crazy to me. It's like you think you've seen a lot of movies, and I'm, like I said, I'm old, so I feel like I've seen a lot of movies. But you're like, when you see this, you're like, no idea what this is. So it's frustrating. But great. This looks great.
Frustrating, but amazing.
Hey, the thing about the side, the thing that they do on the side.
Yeah.
Didn't 88 Films do something recently where they use the exact same thing?
They stole it for their Japanarchy line. All of the Japanarchy line releases will have the Obi strip as well.
Yeah, you got to trademark that, dude. Got to trademark it. Is that not something they could, because it's
because Radiant stole it from the vinyl industry.
They did. That's right. Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, oh, Radiance put that. That's an interesting one for Radiance. Oh, no, that's 88 Films. I was like, 88 Films, you little sneak.
You little sneak for making it look exactly the same.
Yeah, they really did. They were like, let's just do exactly what Radiance is doing. And are they not doing well? I buy a lot of 88 Film stuff. I have Eyeball.
They seem to be doing better than ever.
I know. Why do you got to steal that little thing? Come up with something new.
All right. Next one, Polish Animation Essentials is coming from Radiance as well. This one is only in the UK. This is going to cover 1957 to 1986. There is a ton of stuff in here. This is one of the more chock full releases from Radiance and looks like a really solid one to pick up. There's visual essays on here, audio commentaries on select films by Daniel Bird, who always does incredible work. We've got Michael Brook doing a piece on this. Reversible sleeve, of course, and then a booklet with new writing by animation expert Karol Safranek. I think that's what you would say for that one. But Polish animation. You interested in this one too?
I am, but the art on this I'm not as into. And somebody doesn't like the Obi strip. Okay, I do like it. I don't mind it. I don't. If I get a disc of theirs that doesn't have it, I'm not heartbroken.
Right. I don't care about the Obi strip, but at the same time, I don't like the cases the standards come in. If they kept the Scanovo case, even if there's no booklet or Obi strip, I'd be more likely to pick up the standards for these.
I'm less a fan of like the O cards that just hang on the sides. Like those are the things that don't like as much because, like, once you open it and take the wrapping off, then it's just this loose piece of cardboard, and it's not even a slipcover. It's just part. It's like half of one, and you're just like, what does this do? Like now I have this piece of cardboard that I have to try to keep near it, but it won't, and it slides off if I put it on a shelf. It's so that at least it doesn't have that kind of frustration for me. But
I agree.
I did look at this Polish one, and I was surprised that this wasn't actually a Deaf Crocodile release. I was kind of surprised.
Well, at least not yet. Who knows? They could get some of these eventually.
That's true.
Brendan thought of me when he saw this. Nice. I appreciate that, Brendan. Yeah, I love me some animation. Definitely want to check this out. There's a lot of stuff on here I've never heard of. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah.
Cannot wait for this.
I'd love to come onto your show and be like, yeah, I'm an expert on Polish animation. So, yeah, I know all these.
How did I not do all the audio commentary? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Call me up, Radiance.
If you ever do any New World titles, Radiance, call up Ryan.
I mean, my lord, yeah, for sure. If anyone else does it, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, that's true.
Outside of Stephen Armstrong, but he's certainly earned the right.
Next is not a release, but Radiance has put up the second half of 2025. If you want to sub to all of the July through December releases, you can do that now. They have announced some of the things that are going to be coming as well. So wanted to go over those. I think I listed those. Yeah, here we go.
Goodness.
You'll see a double bill from an overlooked French master, 3 further volumes of existing collections, 3 4K releases, 8 first-time on-disc titles ever, our usual bevy of Blu-ray world premieres with releases by celebrated auteurs from Japan, France, Italy, Greece, Spain, Belgium, and South Korea, alongside some of our greatest discoveries. The big thing that they did clarify is all of those 4K releases will be UK only. So if you get only the US subscription, which will be significantly less titles because they are primarily a UK company, they will not have the 4K releases. They will not have a lot of these. So if you want to get everything they're putting out, you got to get the UK version of the subscription.
What's the price on each one? Did they say?
They do. If you go to the site, and it runs the gamut from like, I think it was like $220 US. So if you do the UK version for the entire 6-month run, it's £350 for the Blu-ray version, and $366 if you get the 4K version. If you get just the US version, it is going to be a little bit less than that because obviously it's less releases.
Okay.
Die Gothic Volume 2, I think, would do very well for them, actually. Silent Mandible says, when does the bundle stop being available? I believe they say it'll be available until the end of June. Yes, purchases available until the end of June.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. Gives me some time. I got to think about it, but I still have to get Die Gothic Volume 1, so I'm so behind.
I'm kind of shocked. I don't think it's out of print yet, but I'm amazed because I feel like everybody got that release and it's still in print somehow. Amazing.
As soon as somebody finds a good deal and puts it on the Discord, I'm done for.
The sad thing is, I think it was already on Hamilton Books.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is.
It's still like full price. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Then they announced their next partner label, which they call hosted labels. Over in the UK, Arbalos just joined up with Radiance. So they're going to be putting out their release of Life is Cheap, but Toilet Paper is Expensive. This is the Wayne Wang film from 1989. If you got the US release, this is the exact same disc. You absolutely do not need this release if you already have it, unless for some reason you're collecting all of the the Radiance partner titles. But it's exactly the same. Literally nothing different. All of the extras are exactly the same. Yeah, you can get it there. You can get it in the US, still in print here with the slipcover and everything. So check it out.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one. But who put out Smoke? Didn't Smoke just come out too?
Smoke. Is that another Wayne Wang?
Yeah, it's Wayne Wang, yeah.
Let me see.
Really testing you tonight.
It is, and I don't even. Do you know what year that came out?
That's the 90s.
95.
Mm-hmm.
Kino announced it, and it also came out from Imprint, I believe.
Okay. Imprint.
Oh, look at that! Everybody's saying Imprint.
And
yep.
Wonderman Project. Yeah. Yep.
Ryan, didn't you say you were leaving and then you're still here commenting like 25 minutes later? Oh yeah, Smoke was a 2-pack. That's right, from Imprint.
Yeah.
And then the next week, Kino announced that both of the films were coming. That's right.
But that's not, they don't have a date on that yet, right?
No, it'll probably be 2031.
Yeah. I was kind of into Wang Wang in the 90s at that time. I have not seen this particular one, but yeah. So but this looks good. I like I like the other. Yeah, no, I actually kind of like this art. So
Wave is saying the U.S. price for the 4K subscription from Radiance is £450, only $366 in the UK. I was saying if you get just the U.S. subscription, which is on a different page entirely, that's only the titles releasing in the U.S. So it's actually less than that. The £450, it's that's after conversion and everything. If you're going to buy, I think it's $450.
Got it.
Is the £366. But yeah, the US version of the sub, which is like half the titles or something like that, is actually less.
And the 4K, if you do the 4K, then if you don't have a region free player, which I do, but if you don't, then the 4Ks, then it's not as big a problem for you unless all those extras are on that Blu-ray. But
But then if you did that, you would only have the 3 4K titles, and the rest of them would be region B locked.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if anyone's watching this show and they don't have a region free player, I mean, come on,
Yeah, I mean, John is one of them. John Peters, who's in the chat here, and All That Is Man, who's here tonight too, is the other one. They're both holding out specifically.
Well, All That Is Man he's such a Kino guy.
Yeah, he just buys everything from Kino.
Yeah, he's okay. He doesn't buy. He gets other things. I know he's got other things, but
he does.
I'm surprised though that John doesn't have a region free player. I was thinking of getting just a second one, just because God knows, with all the companies stopping making Blu-ray players. John, I'm just surprised. You're such an incredible reviewer and stuff. I read all your stuff on Letterboxd and everything, so I was like, I'm just surprised. But I mean, you're clearly watching tons of movies, so maybe you're not feeling, like you need it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't necessarily need one. I mean, especially with the Australian companies not locking anything they put out. You can still collect stuff from other places. So
sure.
All right. Hey, this is rather great. Speaking of Imprint, Fun City Editions later this summer is releasing a 4K. This is their first.
Holy crap.
Of Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains. This will also get a Blu-ray release. More info to come, but
okay, John.
Incredible movie. Imprint also released this on Blu-ray. I love this movie.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Is this not on the site already, right?
No, I've been updating all the time.
The minute, and I have a couple of movies already in a cart, so I was gonna check tonight because I was like, oh man, the minute this is available, I'm buying it. What an incredible Fun City, man. They're just this is such a perfect title for them.
Oh, this will be a really fun double pairing with Breaking Glass that they just announced. That's a hell of a summer from them.
Yeah, really, really well done from them. Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Yes, Wave. This did get an Imprint Blu-ray. Gosh, probably a year and a half ago, something like that. Maybe even longer. It's been a while. Great movie though. Really great acting. Is the Imprint out of print? I think the limited is maybe. Let me see.
Now somebody just has to do a 4K of satisfaction. And then we'll really have it all, guys. We'll have it all.
And speaking of Imprint, the Fabulous Stains is out of print on the Imprint site. Imprint about to announce a huge slate tonight, probably during the show while we're discussing these.
Ooh, exciting!
Eager to see what they are putting out this time. This is a great film. Everybody should go after this. This is great because it's never had a blue in the US. Lots more people will have the chance to see this for the first time. Great movie, incredible cast. Even Brent Spiner is in this a little bit. E.G. Daly's in this. Diane Lane though, amazing. Laura Dern, astonishing. Fantastic performances.
Yeah, I'm excited to see their 4K too. They haven't done a lot of 4Ks, but I mean, I'm sure that they're going to go all out for this one, so I'm excited for it.
This is their first 4K, and so a lot of
Great.
people are excited to see what the quality is like here. So that's going to be a big deal.
For sure.
Big first title for them for 4K.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about VCI earlier, and this is the other one that I was going to really highlight here. July 29th, they're releasing a pair of discs that they're calling part of the Psychotronica collection. This one is Volume 1, and it's Delinquent Schoolgirls from 1975. This gets a 4K restoration of this film, plus a brand new 2025 audio commentary by Rob Kelly. There's an archival commentary track on this. There's a video featurette called Cuckoo for Psychotronica, a photo and poster gallery. I am very eager to pick this up and see what they put into this. I don't know that they know how to spell sleaze properly on the cover. However, I'm quite happy that they're doing something like this. These could be really high quality, fun releases.
Right. It's so sleazy, they can't even spell it right. That's how sleazy it is. They can't even spell sleaze. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff, we deal a lot with 70s exploitation on our show. So this is, of course, something I'm intrigued and interested in, even more so the next title that's coming up, but which I'm certainly going to purchase. But
that Volume 2 title that he's talking about is Mondo Keyhole from 1966. And to let you know the kind of titles that they're putting out here, the synopsis that they're running with for Mondo Keyhole: a serial rapist relishes his attacks on women, but are they only fantasy, real though they may seem? A debauched classic of the roughy genre, complete with S&M fantasies that probably won't win any awards from Miss Magazine. Jack Hill, we were talking about him earlier, is the total auteur of this production. So put down your demi-tasse coffee cup, fasten your seatbelt, and expect the unexpected.
Yeah, this is when, I mean, it's basically softcore porn. I mean, Coppola got the same start doing similar things, and they were both friends, both knew each other from school. They both worked on each other's movies, both worked on The Terror. And so, yeah, Mondo Keyhole, I'm very interested in this. This is what he did right after Spider Baby, and before he does Pit Stop and goes back to Corman goes back to Corman several times in his career. And yeah, I definitely have to pick this one up. So,
and this one, we were talking about them improving their quality. This one gets a 2K restoration and another brand new commentary from Rob Kelly. There's also an archival commentary on this by Jack Hill himself. Yeah, these look like fun releases, and they'll probably be pretty cheap. These are going to have to come home eventually.
Yep, definitely. When did those come out?
These are coming out July 29th, both of them.
Okay.
Then, June 17th, Kino is releasing a 4K of Sabrina from 1954. This is the slip art, and they got reversible sleeve art.
Hey!
This is the Audrey Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart, William Holden film that is, of course, done by Billy Wilder. This gets a new commentary by Joseph McBride, new commentary by Julie Kurgo and Peter Henkoff. Bunch of featurettes that are on this release as well, on a solid 100 gig disc when you get the 4K. This looks like a solid release of this movie. And then they also indicated that they're putting out the remake from 1995 with Harrison Ford.
I was about to ask, what's the over-under on them actually doing the remake as well? And of course they are.
It's coming out on Blue with a 4K restoration.
Oh, come on.
So you can get a 4K of the original and a Blue of the remake.
Then they're going to put out the 4K of it. Come on.
Either that or they're saying Blue now and then waiting to see what the restoration looks like to make the choice.
Yeah. Well, again, they deal a lot with the studios, and that might be what the studio has. If the studio doesn't have a 4K, then they might be beholden to that.
It's a 4K restoration that's brand new of the remake. So
yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to defend Kino here. I'm trying, but my first time on the show, we talked Kino. I do love what they do, and I think that they're putting out such a wide amount of movies, and this is a good one. I remember when the remake came out, and I watched it. That's when I then watched the original because I hadn't seen it, and the original is a lot better than the remake. I'll just, it's been a while since I've seen either, but the original's a lot better. That was my thought at the time. So, I think this is coming home at Winter Wonderland. If this is for sale, then we'll see.
Which coming out in June? Yeah, maybe. All right, only a handful left. Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, is coming on Blu-ray from Universal on May 13th. No extras as far as I can tell, but just an odd entry into this franchise that has done historically okay, and then overseas it does really well. But this didn't even get a theatrical release here, I don't think. I think this just went to Peacock.
Yeah, went straight to streaming, I think, yeah.
But now it's getting a Blue, which I'm kind of surprised by that. If they chose to go, theatrical, I would have expected a Blue, but to go straight to Peacock and then still put it out on Blue, that's great.
Now, talk about a movie that could spell sleaze right. It's Bridget Jones. Mad About the Boy.
To be fair, they did spell Chiwetel Ejiofor correctly somehow.
Yeah. I didn't see the third one. This is the fourth, right?
I think so.
Pretty sure I saw the first two, but I don't think I saw anything. I'm behind on the Bridget Jones oeuvre, and my bad, guys, because I do like art, and I'll catch up. I wish I had some more insightful things to say about it. I mean, I do think Renee Zellweger is underrated, but this has not been my favorite franchise. I'm glad that people dig it, and hey, great that a streaming movie is going to disc.
For sure. Always a good thing. This next one, not a streaming film, but a big deal. 2005's Kingdom of Heaven, directed by Ridley Scott, is coming on 4K Steelbook on May 27th. At the moment, only listed as a Steelbook. Don't know if there's going to be a standard. What's really interesting is this is a 20th Century Fox film. So we're literally like breaking open the Disney vault, which is a big deal. Glad this is getting a release. This is kind of impressive. But
$75? What's the price point?
I mean, it'll probably be like, again, 60, somewhere between $55 and $65. And
you get to look, so you can look at that.
Yeah.
Whenever you want.
I don't mind the art on this, but to not put out a standard if they're not doing that is not a great plan. But what's odd is we can point to something like Tombstone that just got announced. That is getting a 4K Steelbook, only announced as a Steelbook in the US, is getting a standard in the UK. And so a lot of people that don't want the Steelbook because they don't want to spend $55 can pick up the standard 4K from Orbit DVD for $30, or wait a little bit and it'll be $25. That's not that bad. Will this get a standard over there? Not sure. Probably at some point. Will it get one here? Not sure. It feels like they're waging war with the consumers here. That being said, some details that are crucial here. This is the director's cut, both the regular version and the Roadshow version. This does not have the theatrical cut in this package whatsoever. You're not going to be able to see the theatrical version, which most people hate. This is going to be 4K. It's got Dolby Vision. It's got Dolby Atmos. It's a 100 gig disc. All of that is great. Lots of extras from the previous Blu-ray release. There's so much that they didn't even list everything in the press release, because this is a film that had a lot of extras for it. This is a big deal. Big deal title. A lot of people love this. I think I've only ever seen the theatrical version, and I hardly remember anything about this.
I think I maybe rented this back in the day. I don't remember it very well. And when companies like this that don't put things out, and they do, I usually do try to get them if I can, but it's just It's just to be like, yeah, look, I try to buy a bunch of the Disney series when they come out. I don't know about this one. I don't know if I'm going to be racing to get this one. I'm surprised of all. That's the thing. Of all the movies to put out, Tombstone I will get. This one I don't. I'm surprised. I guess because of the Ridley Scott factor. I don't. Of all the movies that they have, I don't know, but is there market research that they have on that people are jonesing for Kingdom of Heaven? I don't.
Yeah, this is actually a very like Generation X and the boomers, the baby boomers really loved this movie. It did very well for a lot of people. This is their favorite Ridley Scott. It's usually this or Alien is one or two.
Well, I get Alien.
This is up there for a lot of those people.
Wow.
This broke this morning, from Bill Hunt over at the Digital Bits, and about 6 or 8 months ago, he started to break that he had some information from Disney, and they were asking him, hey, if we put some of these titles out on 4K, what would we think? And he listed, like, here's 25 catalog titles that would do very well for you. He had this number 3 on that list. Number 1 was Tombstone. This is number 3, and the only thing that was in between number 1 and number 3
was number 2
was
I mean, generally it comes after 1 and before 3.
We've had a lot of discussion about number 2 tonight.
We have.
Number 2 was Master and Commander, which would do quite well for them as well, I think.
Yeah. Would you take a shit on this Blu-ray? Do you think you would this hold your...
If it's $60?
It's a steelbook. It feels like it would really hold it well.
It would have to be substantial. Yeah. It would be a day with a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
People are going to be listening to this and go, what the hell? Yes, Jim, you are right. The Tombstone Steelbook has been shockingly less than expected.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to get the Tombstone one. This one, I'm surprised that this is one that people really dug. This is not my favorite Ridley Scott. I think he's got a lot of other really good movies. I know he bounces from studio to studio, so I don't know how many of his movies Fox has. So maybe there's a little bit of they don't have many of his movies, but yeah, I'm okay. Hey, if this sells well, great. You want people to buy this up, and if they know that people really want this one, fantastic. But I don't know if I would be racing out to get this one.
Well, and literally that's exactly the thing. One of the biggest problems here is if it's going to be super rare that we don't get into the Disney vault if one of these doesn't do well.
I know. That's why
it would be the end of it.
Yeah, they could be like, forget this. We're not going to do any of it. And that's why I want to kind of support it. At the very least, they are giving you different versions. Weird that they don't give you the theatrical, just in case for some reason you love the theatrical, I guess. But I mean, at least they are giving you different versions. I'm curious. It's like they. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I'll go with Tombstone, and then I'll think about it later about Kingdom of Heaven. But because you're right. I mean, sometimes you have to like just purchase things to kind of show like this is the thing you want, and want them, and I want them to keep putting movies out. I don't know if this is what I want you to do, but I want you to keep putting stuff out.
Feels really stupid to do that with fucking Disney.
Yeah.
I will say that. Wave is saying, Bill Hunt is a shot caller for Disney. Am I hearing this right? Or was the top 25 list from the community? It was not from the community. He literally just listed, funny enough, he listed about 50. Supposedly Disney asked him for a list of 25 catalog titles that he thinks would do well since he's so connected to the industry. And he gave them his 25, which this was number 3. But he published that list on his website, and the full 50 list is there. There's some really great titles there, and Kingdom of Heaven would have been, I don't know, number 37 for me compared to everything he had.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I'm sorry. I wish I'd be more positive. No one in the chat is freaking out about it. Whoever said they had the Blu-ray, the 2-disc DVD set, I was kind of like, maybe I'll look up that one. but no, we should, if we can buy this one, we should, just to force them to put out more titles. But boy, this is, I hope they make better choices.
Yeah, and I'll say I know a lot of people that were very excited today. My comment section exploded.
Awesome. That's awesome.
This is a big deal for a lot of people.
And that's great. I did not realize that. And so if that is the case, that's awesome. But
I guarantee this will sell very well, especially if this steelbook is nice. You bought Constantine on 4K. The Constantine steelbook is incredible. I know you got the standard, but the steelbook is all debossed and everything. It looks fantastic.
It does look good. And I looked that one up. I could not turn down $20.
It's hard to. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I know it's not the steelbook, but damn, it's $20.
Next up, Janus Contemporaries is putting out All We Imagine as Light from last year. This is, of course, the modern film line that Criterion has been doing with Janus. This is coming on July 22nd, and as usual, all it's got on it is the trailer for the film and a new interview with the director. I've heard literally nothing but amazing things about this film. Very eager to see this one, for sure.
Me too. Yeah, I've heard really, really good things about it. So, and the Janus put out The Beast as well. So that's Janus Contemporaries. So they got good stuff. But yeah, it's a little light on extras, but
always.
But you get the film, and the films are not always easy to stream, and they're usually rentals. So yeah,
unless you got the Criterion channel,
which I don't. But you know, yeah, if you have the Criterion channel, you get this already. But I heard this is really, really good.
The bigger thing is during a sale, these things are only $15 on Blu-ray, which is fantastic. All right, next up is Robert De Niro in The Alto Nights with Robert De Niro. This is coming on May 27th from Warner Brothers, and I've heard so many terrible things about this movie. I'm still kind of interested to see it as a curio, but what I've heard just kind of made me sad.
I kind of love these vanity projects. Like, this is one that they spent a ton of money on, and they brought in Barry Levinson, and I think from what I understand, it's like literally just I think it was is it the guy running Warner Brothers? Is it his? It's a his thing, but they just wanted to make this movie.
Yep. And
so they put a ton of money into it, and like none of the rest of us want it. Feels kind of like Kingdom of Heaven. Anyway, but I'm kind of intrigued by this because I'm like, because I just love when people are like, you know what, I'm going to use my power and my position, and I'm going to make it's a Zaslav thing. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of really curious about this one because I love it when people do vanity projects. It usually means that something bad happens, but
right.
But I don't know. This would be a amazing disaster to see Robert De Niro play two different characters in a movie that got way too much money and they shouldn't have made, and it's not doing well at the box office. So, but it makes me all the more curious. I love projects like that. I think that's I always find that fascinating.
Yeah. What a career move from De Niro.
From De Niro's standpoint, he's playing two characters. I think Nicholas Pileggi, doesn't he write the script? I mean, from his standpoint as an actor, I'm sure
he was at least interesting.
He was like, "Yeah, I'll do that. That sounds interesting." From his standpoint, as a movie, I don't put this on De Niro. From the movie, it's like they put a lot of weight behind this, and then. I mean, that's what makes me want to watch it, just because I'm fascinated by that kind of stuff.
And then they hardly advertised it at all.
Totally. Completely dumped it into theaters at a bad time. And we're just like, I don't know. I don't understand what they're doing at WB. I hope they get it together.
Knows.
He definitely doesn't, but.
Next up, May 6th, Undercrank Productions, the company ran by Ben Modell, is putting out Tom Tyler, the Silent Films Collection. This is from 1929. It's a double feature of The Law of the Plains and The Man from Nevada. This is going to be new 2K restoration from a nitrate print of The Man from Nevada, new 2K restoration from a nitrate print of Law of the Plains by Undercrank themselves. We've got brand new musical scores by Ben Modell himself. And this will be region free and probably a really solid disc. This will be nice.
Yeah, I don't know the movie, but
I don't even know Tom Tyler.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
But I know the Library of Congress and I know Ben, and this will probably be a very solid release. I know I said it when he was on the show before, but the Undercrank art is always just stupendous, just so indicative and evocative of what they're trying to portray with the film. Love their stuff.
And this is important stuff, like getting like really new versions of these things and doing what they're doing at the Library of Congress. I love that this is something that they're investing in and trying to do. So there are probably some good films, or at least interesting. So.
Absolutely. ending with it's Steven's father.
Yeah.
Oh man. Ending with just like you just said, a good film, or at least an interesting film. Deep Star 6 is coming on 4K from Kino Lorber on June 17th. This is one of 47 underwater horror films released in 1989. This one will have a new commentary by James G. Chandler and Ash Hamilton from horror-fix.com, which I've never heard of this website. I don't know. This will be a 4K and Blu-ray pack if you don't have the Blu-ray release from them. And if you have never seen the film or heard of the film, this is the Sean S. Cunningham helmed Deep Star 6, which, again, the number was quite exaggerating, but 1989 was the year for aquatic horror. Some of the best horror movies filmed underwater were made that year, and this is one of them.
Yeah, this is one of them. This is one of those movies that, because I was very, active and watching movies in 1989, and I was literally watching all of them going, which one's the best? I still think Leviathan wins. But this is one that I would frequently re-rent, like every, 6 to 12 months, and go, I wonder if Deep Star 6 is any better. Catch up with me years later, and they sell the Blu-ray, and I went, I'm going to get that. I wonder if that's pretty... I used to watch this a lot. I wonder if it's still pretty good. And it's still Deep Star 6, and it's very fine. And
very fine.
And I laughed when I saw that they were making of course they're doing a 4K of this.
Well, I imagine the Blu-ray sold very well for them, for people that have never seen it before.
Yeah, or people like me who were like, is it better now? Like, sometimes you will watch a movie that you watched back in the day and you're like, oh, this is much better than I remember, and I didn't get this. And so I kept doing that with Deep Star 6. But even back in the day, it would never get any better. It is what it is. And it still is what it is. But
So you're buying the 4K, right?
I have the Blu-ray still, so...
But you can sell that for $3.
I mean, come on. Think of the money.
It is.
It's still up there, and I have the slip as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's all that we had for announcements, but
Wow.
Our last segment is what is coming next week.
This is the exciting part. What's coming next week? Let's see.
For what you already forgot and that you absolutely feel like you have to go out and purchase now, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 4K coming out in its standard Blu-ray and 2 different Steelbook releases for that film. Had to get that one. Chunking
you got that one already?
My kids.
Yeah, I took the kids to see Sonic 3. It's the Sonic movies are pretty fun, and the kids really dig them. So
I got to admit, not only pretty fun, like pretty well made modern films for kids. Yeah,
and actually, as like Jim Carrey appreciators, like he, I mean, in 4K, it's going to be even better than ever. I mean, if you saw it in the movie theater, you 4K is just going to be a replication, but Jim Carrey's really good in this movie, playing 2 different roles. Like he seems like he really enjoys making these movies, which is kind of crazy to think.
It's so funny.
He's not really making movies anymore, but then he does the 3 Sonic movies, but he's seemingly having a blast every time. So, I mean, he's great to watch.
And probably making more money than he's made in decades.
I don't know. Maybe those paintings are really going for top dollar. We have no idea.
True. But likeness rights for McDonald's toys have to be pretty high up there.
Exactly. Yeah.
John Wayne double feature on 4K, not in the same package, just coming out at the same time. Sansa Iwo Jima and Donovan's Reef, the Popeye-looking cover on that one, coming out next week from Kino. Mm-hmm. The Eel from Radiance, and then Soderbergh. We talked about Soderbergh earlier, The Informant and The Good German 4K.
I was really surprised that Will is not a fan of Soderbergh. That was shocking to me.
Honestly, same.
Yeah, really surprised. I want to get The Informant, and I may get The Good German as well. I do want to pick those up. And, of course, I have to pick up Baby It's You at some point, John Sayles. Yeah. You already have Hard Eyes, right? You already have that, or
I do not have it yet. No,
you're waiting for the 4K. I get it.
I am. I absolutely am. We've not talked about it. The Good German. Did you see that movie when it came out? Because when it got announced, was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the Good German?
It's, from what I remember, I've only seen it once, and I thought it was okay. I'm not, especially even at that time, I hadn't seen as many noir or as many, and that's certainly the era he's going for. Yeah. He's always challenging himself to do something different, try a different genre. I was watching your show last week. I was the exact opposite of Will, because I saw Sex, Lies, and Videotape at the time, and I was like blown away.
Yeah.
And I completely dove in on Soderbergh, and I saw King of the Hill and Kafka, and I saw all those in the theater. And I was just watching him. When he did Out of Sight, I was like, oh my God, of course I saw it because of him, and I'd seen everything. And he so next leveled himself. It really did recall some of the stuff he'd done on The Underneath. But so I kind of watched him grow through all of this. So The Good German was just like another, like, trying to do something different, trying to do black and white, trying to do sort of more of like a noir German expressionist kind of film. And I think it would hit me different now, but I remember not thinking it was bad. I think it's got some sort of a bad reputation, which I did not realize, or people weren't as into it. But I do think it's one of his movies that got a little bit forgotten. But The Limey is, fantastic. I love The Limey. Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm glad that one has gotten rediscovered. Yeah, exactly. It's his Casablanca for sure.
Well, I know it's quite mainstream compared to these other ones, but even Aaron Brockovich from around that time, I adore that movie.
So good. It's so good. And I mean, I don't have it. I think it's a tough watch, but I think Traffic is a fucking masterpiece. It's so good. He's an incredible filmmaker. I've seen both of the past two movies he's put out. I saw Presence and Black Bag in theaters, and I'm not sure that they were my absolute favorites of his, though I like Black Bag very much, and I really appreciate just like good Bubble. Okay, that is a hot take. I'm not sure would be my number one, but hey, I would love to have that debate on what's the best Soderbergh. Contagion too. You guys brought up Contagion. That's such a good film too. Like he's really, really, really good. He's such a good filmmaker, and I just so I'm a big fan of his. I'm really surprised that Will's not into it. I'm kind of shocked, to be honest.
I agree. I hope he gets a chance to retire like 9 more times.
I mean, if he does, then he'll come back and do something super weird,
Right.
I mean, he left, and then we got the Nick, you know what I mean? And we got the Girlfriend Experience and the TV show. And so whenever he leaves, he ends up coming back and doing something really interesting. I just think for him, it's got to be hard because he's editing and he's filming, he's directing. I think he should do way more just being a DP for other people. He did that for one of Magic Mike's, and Logan Lucky is really good. Yes. I really like. That's a very fun movie. That's him sort of like doing a Coen Brothers movie.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Daniel Craig, like we did earlier.
Yeah.
Great Daniel Craig
movie for sure. His American accent's gone a long way for sure.
All right, so that's Soderbergh. Baby, It's You, like you mentioned. That's Fun City. Should be shipping any day now, I assume. King of New York 4K Steelbook from Lionsgate Limited will be shipping as well. Hard Eyes, like we mentioned. Batman Ninja vs. Yakuza League 4K. Ninja Terminator Standard from Neon Eagle Video is getting a release as well. Good German also getting a Blu-ray release. Bossa Nova from Sony Pictures Classics also coming out. Evil Bong 3D, The Wrath of Bong, if you really want it, is going to be available. Kind of a light week overall.
It is a light week, but I do feel like there are some real standouts that I definitely want to get. I mean, and we skipped over Chungking Express, but like that's one that I will also. I mean, come on.
Obviously, an amazing, fantastic classic.
Definitely
everybody loves.
Yeah, have to pick that one up. So there's definitely some really good stuff, solid stuff to pick up this week.
We're still talking about Soderbergh. Side Effects had potential. I actually liked Side Effects. I didn't think it was
okay.
bad.
Yeah, it's a little okay. His Ocean's movies are a blast.
They're so much fun.
So fun. I showed them to our kids. I got all those Steel books when they came out, and that were those exclusives, and
Yeah,
they're so fun. And that second one, I know it's not as revered, but that second one I love. It came out when I was living in Amsterdam, so he's just so fun. And Black Bag, he brought back Dave Holmes to do the music.
nice,
Huge. So it's huge help to that movie too. Really adds a lot of great choice on his part. So it's a nice blend of a lot of his different eras.
Perfect. So, like we discussed, tonight is going to be comedy night.
Comedy night.
Made us, that built our sense of humor, that made us what we love in comedies, films that stuck with us, foundational, really great comedy films. The question to ask before we go into it: what is your style of comedy nowadays? Like, how do you classify what you find funny and what you love to be a part of for humor?
God, that's a really good question. I think I just like to be surprised. I'm really not like into like a lot of, I think you have to be somewhat smart. Like I'm really excited for Friendship. Andy DeYoung is a guy I've known from improv circles. And I just saw some other friends of mine, like pictures when they had like a premiere at Vidiots.
Yeah.
And but that kind of stuff where you're making a comedy, but it's based in this sort of thriller, and where like male friendship is this toxic thing. That kind of stuff to me. I kind of love that. I like to be surprised. I feel like ingrained in me, and it will be my first pick, is the fact that my dad is from Scotland. So there's a British sense of humor to me is, it's, I definitely tend to really enjoy British comedy still to this day.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I want to say, like, I don't really like a lot of frat guy kind of humor and comedies, but you know what? I can enjoy those too. It just all depends. I think you just got to be smart. I love like a nice satire to it, but it doesn't have to have satirical elements. I think there was some satire in Death of a Unicorn, but I found it very funny. A lot of it is just about the performance and the commitment.
Right.
Taking a fantastical premise like that, but like really grounding it with really good actors. Incredible cast, Death of the Unicorn. So I don't know. It's Tim Robinson in Friendship. Yeah. I'm in a fantasy football league with Tim. He's a funny guy. And
you don't say.
Yeah. But whenever we do the draft, he's like mostly off camera. I don't know what he's doing. And he has half the guys in our league like over to his house for those nights. Very funny. He's kind of a private dude. He's really honestly like very private. I've seen him around LA too with his family, and he's just kind of like a very mellow private dude. Laurel and Hardy, Jim, I am not as in. I do like some of their stuff, but I admit I don't go as heavy into that. I'm much more of like I'm definitely more of a sketch guy. Mr. Show is still, I think, a seminal show for me. I absolutely adored what they did doing improv and doing long form improv. There's so many correlations between Mr. Show and doing a long form improv show. People know what that is. That's just not like little improv games. It's like a longer piece based on a single suggestion, and scenes come in and out, and there's a lot of callbacks and things like that. Game Night is a newer good one. Yeah. Game Night's really good. A real classic. And on that same tip, did anybody ever see the movie Bad Words? It's
Jason Bateman.
They had that on Hamilton Book, and I picked it up and watched it again. It's great. It's great
so
little
much
movie.
Than it got credit for.
It's such a good little movie. It's so funny, and then the end twist is so good.
Yeah,
it's so heartbreaking. You're like, damn, like he had me on this ride, and it was so funny. So I don't know, like I can run the gamut. I loved when Billy Madison first came out. I saw it at a cheapo movie theater near me, and I just thought that was amazing. And then Adam Sandler movies kind of fell off a cliff as it went on. Ronnie, Kids in the Hall, absolutely one of my favorites. We didn't have cable a lot for me growing up, so once we did, and it was called the Comedy Channel, and then eventually became Comedy Central, and then I would record episodes of Kids in the Hall so I could watch them again. Now I have the DVDs, but so yeah, that's kind of a little bit a long answer, but that's kind of what I kind of look for in comedies. But
so basically everything, which is a good answer.
I guess I'm trying to think what I don't like. I will give comedy a lot because I'm so into them, and we don't get many of them. I will give them a lot more space than maybe I think a lot of other people will. So I've watched some recent ones that I was like, okay, but was there a laugh or two? But a lot of people will be like, no, that sucks. But I'm just so thirsty for comedies, and we just don't. They just don't make them. They just don't make them. And if they do make them, they just dump them on streaming, and you maybe never know that they existed. So,
yeah, it seems like nowadays the thing is for comedies they have to be, for some reason, $100 million movies with the biggest names in the world doing forced jokes. And that rarely works. Stupid overachiever me, I made the list of 5 that were formidable, and then I've got a long list of like favorites that I love that I was going to share. And one of them, which I'll break right now, was kind of the epitome of that, which is probably the only time that this has worked for me, is where they went all out on the cast like that. Blockers or cock blockers, whatever you want to share. The John Cena movie is so much better than I expected it to be. I absolutely went into it going, ugh. Here we go, another trash modern comedy. And then the jokes are actually funny. Cena put himself on the line. He does that a lot. And I was just amazed. It was actually really well written. Nice modern premise. Nothing that was like too unbelievable. Good stuff. Fun movie.
Yeah, it was. That's a good example. One of Them Days it just came out, and
I need to see it. It looks incredible.
That was another movie again that was a lot more acceptable than Mysterious Skin, but that my daughter was like, I want to see that movie, and nobody would see it with her. And she was like, Dad, would you want to, come with me? I said, you bet. We went to the movie theater. One of the few people there to see it. Very good. Enjoyable. Highly enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. I thought the leads were great. It was a nice little world. Again, it's like, if you can, as long as you keep things kind of grounded and you take it seriously and you approach it by being smart and trying to play at the top of your intelligence, as we always say, you don't try to sell things out for stupid jokes. The Blackening was an incredible comedy. I watched that again just last Halloween. Really, really good movie. I really, really like that one.
Still need to see that one. I've only ever heard people love it, so I'm eager to see it.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray up here somewhere. So yeah, I totally dug that movie, and one of the cast members is in One of Them Days, which is why I thought of it. But,
nice, very nice.
So I guess I just like people to just commit to it. Somebody was mentioning Borat, and I do think that that. I think it's we so have gotten my wife and all those things, like it's become such a like overly quoted movie that there's almost like we're like Borat, that's so dumb, but that is still I think one of the funniest movies. Yep. That end scene where they're fighting and they're coming out of the elevator, that commitment, like his commitment to those characters and not breaking, I think that's I find that so impressed. Yeah, great impression. Yeah, all right, Paul. I love that commitment, and I was a big fan of the Ali G show.
Yeah,
I thought some of those moments when he was interviewing people and not breaking, people were really buying it. People were buying that you were these people, and that's the kind of stuff that I really dig. That commitment. I just want you to build a world, commit to it, don't sell yourself short.
Exactly.
And then you can have silly jokes like in One of Them Days when they spill blood everywhere. And it's like, it's fine because we've committed, we've gotten into these characters. That's all I'm really looking for,
Yep. We're going to be talking about the 5 that made our comedy the way that it is, our sense of humor brought there. So let's jump right into it. What's your number 5 then, sir?
Okay. So my dad, as I said, is British. And if there's one thing I could watch when I was younger, that was like, you're wanting to watch all the adult stuff, or at least I was, but you couldn't watch anything. But there was one thing that was completely allowable in our household. We could watch anything, and you could see some of their episodes of their TV show on PBS, which they play late at night. And Monty Python and the Holy Grail was a movie that I saw 1,000 times. We had the VHS, and it was a movie that I would quote to my dad, and he literally would have me or my brother or both of us when they would have dinners with friends, come over and like quote a scene, and he would just crack up laughing.
Yeah.
It's like, and it was like, there's nudity in it, there's bad words, there's stuff like, and in the Flying Circus episodes, those were things we were allowed. It was like, that was okay. We could watch that. We had the VHS of Meaning of Life. There's a sex scene in the movie very prominently. It's the whole premise of the sketch, and we were allowed to watch it. It was like Monty Python. It was like, it's fine. I mean, my parents they look back and go, I guess we let you guys watch whatever. Which they did, but there was something about Monty Python that was like, it's never a discussion that this wasn't acceptable, and this is still probably, I don't know, it's really hard between this or Life of Brian on what's their best film, but I find this one so fun and so well, both of them are, they're both really fun, and they're both really they're both great to revisit, but I think I've just seen this one probably 200 times more than that. And you know, that's saying something, because I watched the Life of Brian a lot too. But yeah, and I have the Meaning of Life 4K as well. But when is Holy Grail getting a 4K? Crazy.
You know what's hilarious? I was trying to do the whole let's get the Letterboxd link for every movie that we talk about tonight so I can put it in the chat. The moment you said the episodes were on PBS, I was typing in Monty Python Holy Grail, because I knew it was going to be that one because of just your age, how you talk about it. This movie is perfection.
Incredible. Yeah.
I will talk about Monty Python a little bit later as part of the favorites. It was formidable, but it was one that wasn't like some of the first ones that I found. But funny enough, my number 5, which I guess I'll go into right now, has a very deep connection with Monty Python stuff. And that's because it shares one of the main actors. 1988's A Fish Called Wanda is such an important movie for my humor, for my upbringing. This movie is where I discovered so many just silly, stupid situations that I would quote and talk about for so long. This movie is amazing. The Arrow video release of this is perfection. If you have somehow never seen A Fish Called Wanda, this movie is still so damn funny. Jamie Lee Curtis is amazing in this. John Cleese, who's the connection to Monty Python, is so...
And Michael Palin.
Well, yeah, but John Cleese, I always run to for this one. Michael Palin.
He wrote it. Yeah. John Cleese, but Michael
Palin is hilarious in this too. This movie, wild premise, not something that you would expect like a 7-year-old to fall in love with. When I did, don't know why. This movie is just one of the funniest things ever that I saw at the time, and it was what got me into one of my biggest loves for comedy, and that's like the borderline absurdist comedy where it's just so silly but not like unbelievable. There are certain things that just I like a lot of like over the top absurdist comedy now. Like I Think You Should Leave is on my list to discuss in a little bit, but you have to be in a mood for that. And A Fish Called Wanda is, let's go up to that line, but not past the line where it seems like this was so silly we shouldn't have gone there sometimes. Like I Think You Should Leave kind of does sometimes. But yeah, this movie, perfection. Jamie Lee Curtis is beautiful in this movie. Hilarious cast. This is a masterpiece.
100%. We had that one too. I think I kind of lumped that in with the Monty Python films as well. And like I said, I could have picked a lot of different ones. I only picked Holy Grail because it was just something I watched so incessantly.
Right.
And I think I saw it even when I was not quite born yet, because my parents went to see it in the movie theater while my mom was pregnant. So, yes, Fawlty Towers as well. But yeah, no, great pick. We had that movie as well, and I've seen that one also so many times, and that has some very inappropriate scenes as well. The fact that John Cleese is still funny to this day is kind of, I mean, he has his weird old man takes every so often, like anybody does at his age, but he's still pretty damn funny. And for him to go out and get naked in a scene like that at that point in time, I mean, he was still like a middle-aged dude.
It was a big deal.
Dude, he's got so much of my respect and admiration. I love those guys. The Monty Python guys are great. And I dug all their different movies, like Eric the Viking and all the like offshoots and stuff, and the Missionary of Michael Palin. And I mean, they were such a huge influence on me.
I love that we both went there for number 5. It was such a perfect tie-in together.
Yeah. Well, I'm
All
going
right.
sequentially in my life. So that's like my earliest stuff, Monty Python. As I got slightly older, but still pretty young, I got into Saturday Night Live. And this is, of course, not the original cast that we were on to other casts. And the person that I grew up first thinking was such a huge superstar was Eddie Murphy. And I would record Saturday Night Lives and then watch them in the morning before my parents would get up. I just adored Saturday Night Live. I thought Eddie Murphy was a giant star. I could have picked a variety of these movies, but I'm going to go with Beverly Hills Cop, because my parents owned the soundtrack. That's how big this movie was. And I recorded it onto a tape and listened to it on my Discman on the way to on the way to school. I was so into this movie. I thought this was just, I was so, Eddie Murphy was just like a huge star to me. It still is, just an enormous star. I almost picked 48 Hours, another movie we had on VHS that I watched way too many times for a kid at that age. But yeah, Eddie Murphy was just an enormous star and a huge influence. And then all his records came out, which, didn't date very well and weren't probably very good at the time either, if we're really being honest. But he was just a giant star, and I adored him. So that was just a huge movie for me.
I don't know how. The moment I knew it was Eddie Murphy, I was typing in Beverly Hills Cop. I just knew it was what you were going to pick again.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie's incredible. Obviously, a perfect pick. The thing that always gets me on rewatch is I saw this movie so young. I threw on the 4K a couple years ago when it came out, and like 3 minutes in, I went, fuck, this is way more adult than I remember it being.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, they're showing people get fucking murdered, like in the opening of this movie, and then cracking the most adult jokes about it. I loved this movie as a kid, and maybe because it was just like a hard R.
This is like one of those, like, you think even when we watch Trading Places a lot, like our family loves that movie. So it's another one I could have brought up because we watched that like crazy. And my parents, we still all talk about that movie all the time and quote it. And, but Beverly Hills Cop was one that I just remember being such a huge hit. It was just such an unbelievable big movie. It was just one of the first movies I remember. It was like unavoidable, and I loved it. So I didn't mind it. Yes, age jokes didn't age well, and that's some of the tamer stuff that he talked about. It was really not some good stuff, but that the butt song was funny though, right? That was funny.
Speaking of number 2s, my number 4. This is one that I have a feeling a lot of people have never seen because it is a pretty small movie. I did not go in order of like my ages because I kind of went into what was most formidable for me. This one was the first like raunchy teen comedy that I attached with, and I don't know why, because it's not a great movie. But I had to bring it up because I don't know that I've ever talked about it on the show. That is 2001's Out Cold, starring a very young Zach Galifianakis and Lee Majors. This is a snowboarding movie, very classic, like group of people up on a mountain. They live in this one random place until somebody decides they have to sell the mountain to some random like crazy land developer, and they're going to have the staff all fired, so they all have to find a way to rescue it. Very classic setup for this style of comedy, and it is so funny. I mean, somebody gets their dick stuck in a jacuzzi jet. It's that kind of jokes that just makes you love this movie. Still no Blu-ray release that I know of yet. It is such a random ass film. The jokes in this are pretty good, but it's like a very classic late 80s, early 90s style of comedy done in 2001, and that just wasn't really happening at the time. It's a very fun one.
I have not seen this, so I will be checking this out.
I stumped him.
Have not seen it. Yeah. I know. I looked at the art and I'm like, okay, I know the art.
It was a big video store film
from my video store days, but I didn't watch that. I did not watch that one. Maybe you'll learn why as I go through it. But yes, I will definitely check that out. I'll definitely check that out. I
wonder if it's streaming.
Sports comedies and stuff. It looks like you have to rent it. So I mean, but not for tons. $4. That's no big deal.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah, I definitely will check this out because I love like sports movies and stuff. I could have like put in like something like Thrashing and something like that being so, but that's not like it's not an actual comedy. This is really trying to be a comedy. So Thrashing is accidentally one of the best comedies ever made. But anyway, my next pick is certainly one of the most influential that I got to see this in the movie theater, and it had a moment in the movie theater where I was like, the audience laughed so hard at a joke that I was like, I want to do comedy.
Wow.
And it's Fletch.
Nice.
I love this movie. It's the scene I'm talking in particular is when he gets brought into he gets brought into Tim Matheson's house, and he gets the big sell on why he wants to be killed. And he goes to the big story and he says, "Will you kill me?" And he kind of like looks down and shakes his head and then he goes, "Sure." And the whole theater exploded in laughter. And it was a full theater because back then everybody watched movies. And and I was just like, wow. And just the power of laughter was really introduced to me. And yeah, Moon River, there's so many great lines in it. And boy, have I watched that movie a million times. Talk about another movie that you want to put in and see if it's gotten any better somehow is the sequel, but that's okay. I bought that one too, but it's still not great. But yeah, Fletch was just a huge comedy for me. I was absolutely influenced by it. Chevy Chase was a giant star. Didn't realize he was a huge asshole, but probably could have guessed. Don't meet your heroes, I guess. I never met him though, but yeah, dude, I still love Fletch. I still think it's an absolute incredible comedy, and I just was like, I want to do that watching that movie.
That's great. Those moments that happened for me in another way in one of the movies I might talk about later after these five, but I love that you have, when you are interested in the industry like this, you have those moments that you can look back on and go, fuck, that was that time. That was the time that built who I am for film, for comedy, for horror, for wanting to learn how to write because something blew you away, just the way it was written. From the people that fall in love with acting and see a performance and go, I have to do this because I want to pull that off. I love that. I love that this is an answer like that for you.
Yeah, no, it was. And after that, because we didn't immediately have streaming or whatever, I just started buying all the Gregory McDonald books. And I read the book and the first book, and then I started reading my brother and I we both were just like buying the books and like trading them back and forth and reading all of them and just getting super into it. And then of course Fletch Lives comes out, and that was kind of disappointing to us, but like it was a huge influence. And I actually gone back and bought some more of those Fletch books and read through some of them again. I read through Confess Fletch after seeing the recent Fletch movie with John Hamm, which I think was great. And I'm so pissed at the studio for just dumping it like they did, because we should have already another Fletch movie.
Yeah.
Well, they were making another one. They had another one ready to go. They were going to do Fletch's Fortune right after Confess Fletch. They set it up at the end of the movie. And, Greg Mottola said he had it all ready to go. It just doesn't, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. And it's a shame. And John Hamm was great as Fletch.
He's much so underrated.
Much more like Fletch is in the books.
Yeah.
Certainly Chevy made it much more for himself. The way he really took he uses a lot of aliases, just doesn't use his own name, but he took it. I'm going to do these different little goofy characters. Right. Which is still great in its own right. But I mean, that's not really what he does in the book. And which I admit when I read the books as a kid was a little disappointing, but still some of the dialogue in it is so sharp. A lot of those scenes, in fact, the one that I just described, a lot of that dialogue is just taken almost word for word out of those books.
Right.
Like Gregory McDonald is a fantastic writer. So, yeah, huge movie for me. What's your next one?
My next one, honestly, was a huge movie for me as well. This is a movie that I claimed was my favorite movie for years, probably just because I watched it more than anything else. Still like it quite a bit. I don't know how it was so influential on me, but good Lord, did I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. John Hughes as a writer just completely shaped the way I watched a lot of these movies. Obviously, he is a master at so many different things, but this movie is just the perfect like fantasy film for a kid. Nice car, good looking girl. You get to do what you want. You leave school for the day. Fell in love with this movie. Obviously, there's some unsavoriness attached to it nowadays, but it's still a great movie. I think that a lot of the Hughes joints get like overlooked in a way because they're just sort of understood classics. But Ferris Bueller's specifically is so much more than a couple of the ones that get more attention from him, I believe. This movie is, I don't know. It is silly. It is believable in so many interesting ways. It is just like bad decisions compiling into just absurd situations. And then you realize, yeah, like, why would I not want to be standing on a float in the middle of Chicago singing my ass off? This looks like a ball. And I love this movie so much. Quoted this probably every day of my life for like 7 years in a row.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sibner is saying it. That's what I hear a lot of people saying, that Ferris is like an asshole and he's like
for sure
self-absorbed. But I'm like, I don't think so. And here's the thing: I do think he's trying to legitimately show his best friend a great time.
Yep.
But he's trying to do it in his own way. He's not trying to do it now. A more thoughtful friend, let's say, is a person that like might say, well, what are the things that Cameron is into? And I'll do the thing. He's trying to show him a great day, but it's still the day that he thinks is great.
Yep.
But at the same time, were you, I don't know, maybe other people were that thoughtful at that age, but I wasn't.
No.
So I love this movie too. Huge movie. If it wasn't so close to when Fletch came out, I would have probably chosen that one. I love this movie. I think it's terrific. I also think, as a Gen Xer, John Hughes was a giant influence, huge. And this is, I think, pretty sure is his best comedy. Other people might like Uncle Buck or something like that. But to me, this is like top tier. Love this movie. People my age all love this movie. I have the soundtrack, which is really hard to get because they don't sell it in America. Because they can't license it. So my buddy got me a Japanese copy.
Nice.
It's a great Chicago film, which I lived in Chicago for many years, and it is a great Chicago movie. Many of his movies are obviously set in Illinois, but Sibner, that is a movie that might have been my next pick, to be honest. Career Opportunities. I love Career Opportunities. I really, really do. But yeah, I love Ferris, and I just don't buy that he's an asshole. I just think he's not as open and as thoughtful as he should be.
Right.
But like, they're teenagers, Teenagers are not very thoughtful people. Maybe you think back and you think, I was really very cool and open and honest with my pals.
And that's the thing. He is an asshole to authority figures, but not necessarily to the people around him. Like, obviously, he's doing stuff he shouldn't be doing. But at the same time, it's the best day of his life. And for those around him, like, that is going to mean something.
And it is a helpful move in terms of like an arc of a movie when you want to see one character go from one place to another. Cameron has the arc.
Yep.
Ferris does not. Ferris is unchanged. And at the same time, I always feel like this was definitely not me, has never been me, but there are people that you maybe know in life that just things went well for them.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever reason. Maybe it was just simply their outlook on life, the way they looked at things. it's just, it went well for them. And there was certainly that kind of thing in high school, which I think John Hughes was very perceptive for kind of noticing. He tried to make him a lot more likable. Maybe he doesn't always pull it off for some people, but I think he tried to make him much more of a likable, man of the people kind of person. But for me, the more impactful teen trouble, it was Ferris Bueller, but I love Risky Business.
They're both great, but yeah, I think Ferris Bueller is like further into the zeitgeist, obviously.
Yeah.
Risky Business, unfortunately, is like one scene. It has proliferated everything, and that's about it.
But Risky Business is still a great movie.
It's incredible, yeah.
There's some great Tangerine Dream songs in that one, too. Charlie Sheen's greatest performance. And it's such a
score is pretty great.
It is. New World Pictures. Great. Certainly one of the best Maxwell Caulfield film performances.
Oh, for sure.
One. He's so good in that one. Holy crap. That's a dark movie, dude.
Yes, it is.
Holy crap. We have not gotten to that one yet. And I'm just like, oh, that one is dark. It's going to be a tough one.
Let me call dibs on that one. That'll be my magnum opus return.
Oh, okay.
Or let me come talk about it.
I love it. Yeah, it's a great film. That's a good pick. It's a very good one from New World.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I would have gone for one of the John Hughes things because I did think that was important. I'm going to go for another filmmaker that I think is important, and this is a little stretch because it's not as big and thought of as a comedy, but a big filmmaker that I found in high school, so I'm going to high school now, is Hal Hartley. And I love Surviving Desire, and I don't think it's one that's seen a whole lot. It's certainly much more of a romantic comedy, if it's a comedy, and I think his wit is very sharp. It's very dry, though. So it's not like the big, it's not out cold. It's not going to be big, wild jokes. It's not going to be, right. Ferris Bueller. It's not going to be Monty Python. But and it has a bit of a heartbreak on it. It's about a professor of English literature who's kind of having a crisis, and he falls in love with one of his students. But there's great scenes in it, and it's very, very funny. To me, I think it's very, very sharp, very witty. It's one that was made for American Playhouse, so it's only like an hour. But I watched this thing so many times. And it's got some great quotes in it. I love that it's about a guy who is teaching literature, but he just doesn't, but professes to not really truly understand it. Hal Hartley's Trust is also one of my favorites, too. I almost would have said that one as well, but I just love this one. I think this one's a little bit more lighter. Maybe it's because it's only an hour. Trust is a little bit more, but I think Trust is one of Hal Hartley's still one of his absolute best films. And this was a huge influence on me. Hal Hartley became just a filmmaker that I absolutely loved, and I just love the way his scripts, the rhythm of it, and it really got me thinking about. I don't think I write exactly like Hal Hartley, but the rhythm of his dialogue and how clever it is. And I've read some of his scripts too. They're amazing reads. He's like really an incredible and thoughtful writer on top of everything. So, Trust is not exactly comedy. Surviving Desire, I'm blurring the edges just a little bit on that one, but that's just where my mind started going at that point in time, is starting to go and finding these more unique kind of comedies, but also they had some drama in it or romance, kind of blending them a little bit more because I was trying to search for something a little bit more at that age.
Yeah. I just realizing, I think I just looked through everything. I don't think I've ever seen a single Hal Hartley film at all.
Oh, I got a whole shelf over here. This is my Hal Hartley shelf.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I got the Long Island trilogy. Amateur I saw in the theater, as well as Henry Fool. Simple Men. Amateur is like absolutely one of my favorite films. Yeah, he's got definitely a wit to him that's just I just think he's got a new movie that's coming out, and I'm really excited for it. I'm really hoping he still got it because I think he's got a really interesting outlook. But his movies are not like about tons of stuff. They're not like big, bold, high concept movies. So, Gary, I did think about Albert Brooks, a huge influence as well. I hope that Ryan will have one.
I'm gonna let you down. I'll just say it right now. I love Albert Brooks, but no, definitely not in my 5. Might be mentioned at least related to one in my list of favorites.
Mm-hmm. I almost picked out Defending Your Life because it did come out around that same time for me, and it's such a genius script and such a genius idea. And that's definitely something I thought about because he is so able to take such a huge concept like the afterlife and where we're going and just make a fun romantic comedy out of it. Amazing. I mean, unbelievable. And I think Modern Romance is one of my absolute favorites of his movies. I absolutely adore that movie. It's so good.
Well, and the one that I'll just say it now. I've talked about it many, many times on the show before, but the snappy dialogue alone of broadcast news and there's so much of that movie that blows me away every time I see it. And I go into this going, man, I love this movie. I want to watch broadcast news again. And then like 4 minutes in, I'm going, no, I love this movie. Like this is a perfect movie. It absolutely, definitely would be up there for me.
It's like, it would go on my list of movies about which I love movies that are about like love that doesn't go well. Like we always want to see love stories that are like,
yep,
oh, they fall in love and happy ending, and it's like sometimes we've all had that. Well, maybe not you. You married your high school sweetheart, but where you fall in love with somebody and you're with them for a long time and it's meaningful and it's important, but it isn't meant to be. Right. It's just not the person you're supposed to be with. And it happens. And we don't often discuss that. And I think I think they handle that. That's one of the best movies that handles that subject.
I would agree. Fully agree. My number 2 is kind of an odd one when comparing the list and what we've chosen so far, because this one didn't even come out until I was 20. This is a movie that I saw and immediately was taken how smart the writing was, how there were certain things said in the script for this that it's not even just that you didn't expect, it's that the timing was impeccable and the way that jokes were crafted. You could tell that this isn't just something that somebody went, I'll write that down. It was like, what if we did these 4 things and then we did this? And it taught me the complexity of humor and what you could build with true comedy. And this is maybe a silly answer for a lot of people, but 2007's Hot Fuzz is that movie for me. And wore Shaun of the Dead tonight to go with that. But Hot Fuzz is, to this point, I think still Edgar Wright's best movie for me. It's probably not my favorite, or even maybe not even my favorite of those 3 in that trilogy. I really think that the World's End is underrated, folks. If you still think that you don't like it, go back and rewatch it. Once you got older, that movie hits fucking hard. But this is about Hot Fuzz. So Hot Fuzz is obviously like this perfect buddy comedy about so many different things. It's a fish out of water story. It is a horror movie. It is a completely complex buildup of these incredible British things as a send-up of action films. And all of those coming together to deliver like dick and ball jokes is fucking amazing. This movie is so perfectly crafted that I don't understand how Edgar Wright hasn't made 30 of these movies, and probably just because it takes a lot of fucking time. And the chemistry between these people, you can't just pull that off. And the way that he was able to get these, you could tell that it was built from Spaced to Shaun of the Dead to Hot Fuzz,
right,
and still going on all of these. And that's why something like Paul, which is good, but it's nowhere near the genius that they can pull off with an actual crew of Edgar Wright's people. It is such a, for me, it is a superbly written movie in a way that makes you just pissed off that you can't do that.
No, you're right. It is. I just watched it again recently because I got the 4K of it, and it's really a perfect movie. It's really great, and it is about the things that we love, and it's about friendships. And it's also making fun of action films, but it's also when you can make fun of an action film, but also be a great action film,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the stuff. I was a fan of Spaced, and I loved Shaun of the Dead, and so I was so in for Hot Fuzz. The World's End is one I just got the 4K of as well, but I'm on the, I didn't love it as much. But I'll tell you what the thing is for me is that the alien part of it is like, I'm all for this guy that wouldn't grow up, the guy that is still wearing a Sisters of Mercy t-shirt and still like talking about the good old days. Like, that's very real. And that hit me. I was perfectly, for it at that age, even to be like, yep. Oh yeah, man. I hear it. Like, some of us just won't go beyond it. But the alien stuff to me, like, it doesn't blend. It doesn't blend. That said, I think Edgar Wright is a genius. I think I own every one of his movies. A huge fan of him. And so I bought it because I was like, well, I mean, watching a movie of Edgar Wright's that maybe I don't love as much as the others, it's still going to be a good time because he's got an incredible cast. And I want to say about Hot Fuzz, the surrounding people, it's like a comedy all-star. Like, the people in the town, he has an incredible cast in that. Like, unbelievable.
Fucking Olivia Colman is a bit player in this movie.
Totally. Which she was doing like kind of like, comedy roles of that. She was much more of a comedy actress at that point in time, until she became much more than that and a big Academy Award winner. But just to show the power of his movies too, because I've always been also a big fan of his Scott Pilgrim. But on her own, our daughter discovered that movie and is obsessed with it. And so because of her, I upgraded to the 4K because I was like, okay, we got a couple of people in the household who likes watching this movie. She adores that movie. She's read all the manga comics it's a regular comic book, Canadian. And she's watched the TV show. She's got a poster of the TV show in her room. She's like,
excellent.
It's one of her favorite movies of all time. So it just, Edgar Wright, he can be enjoyed by everyone. That's
another sharply written one too.
Yeah,
Scott Pilgrim is like nothing stops in that film. There's jokes in every single frame. It's crazy.
I was working as a freelance writer at that time when that came out, and I was covering that movie a lot. I was doing a lot of entertainment journalism on the side and going to auditions and stuff. And everyone thought this movie was going to hit. And it was like, you looked at all the trailers, you looked at the extra scenes they had. You're like, this is going to kill. I went and saw it in the theater. I was like, this is amazing. And it just died.
Yep.
And it was like, wow, what? I'm so glad that more people have found it. And it's one of those movies that, how could you not? It's great soundtrack too. Like, incredible. He's a great filmmaker.
Always great soundtrack.
Always.
All right, sir. Last one.
Okay, so Into College. This is a movie that I found and saw in the movie theater, and I went back and saw it again the next night with other friends. I was like, you must see this movie. This guy is incredible. Bottle Rocket. This was a huge movie for me. And this is a movie that my wife cannot stand. She's like, it's boring. I can't get into it. I absolutely love it. And hey, Greg, welcome back. I just love this movie. Again, this is a absolutely hugely quotable movie. Yep. So smartly written. The characters are very real, but it's a ridiculous situation. Just the earnestness of Dignan, who wants to become this criminal, and you buy into it so much you don't even wonder, why does he want to be a criminal? And it's just this father figure he wants to impress. And it's just like, I just thought it was an unbelievable film. And obviously a bright young talent in Wes Anderson. And, but I still love Future Man. I love, I just, the interview to be like, Bob, you're going to be the getaway driver. Let's have go ahead. Let's have there's so much funny shit in it. The 75-year plan they have, it's just there's so much of that movie that I think is so clever, so smart, so well written, so well acted. It was a movie made with because of Pat. Why am I forgetting her name all of a sudden? Polly Platt. another one of the last movies she kind of gave us, and it's just an incredible movie. Speaking of James L. Brooks, also his company was the one who made it. So it's just an incredible film, incredible comedy, so funny, and I just adore it. And it's before he starts overloading his movies, if you want to call it that, with production design, which I don't mind. But, I think The Grand Budapest Hotel is one of the best movies and one of the best comedies of all time.
Beautiful movie too.
And that didn't come out when I was in college. Bottle Rocket did, and I was like so taken with it that I saw it 3 times in the theater. I absolutely love it.
This is a great movie. It wouldn't be my Wes Anderson because it's not the one that I saw first that I attached to, but
sure, it's
still fucking amazing. This movie is still beyond underrated. To me, it's no Tenenbaums, but I mean, we just talked about that recently because of Gene Hackman. So much of earlier Wes Anderson is, I don't know, it was so unique at the time. Nobody was doing anything even remotely close to that at all. I couldn't help but love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Paul, I also love Life Aquatic. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, Bill Murray role of all time. The Life Aquatic. It's just unbelievable. I think that movie's tremendous. Grand Budapest, Life Aquatic, Rushmore, Bottle Rocket. Those are kind of my top tier Wes Anderson movies. But I enjoy almost all of them. Almost all of them. Not all of them, but almost all of them. And I think if a guy's also got tons of style and he likes making things in that style and he perfectly crafts these movies, he works very hard at them. I find there's nothing wrong with that. I think people that are just get angry with him because he has an aesthetic is just like, my Lord, guys. But yes, in the beginning when he was finding himself, and that's what makes, I think, Bottle Rocket and Rushmore so foundational for me to watch those movies. Even Life Aquatic, he's still figuring out that style. He's still figuring out how exactly he wants to do and racking the camera this way and that, and the way he wants every little aspect of the set to have some sort of functionality for himself. Like he's discovering all that. And I love Tannenbaums too. I didn't love as much some of the relationships in that, but again, I think it's one of Gene Hackman's absolute best parts.
Yeah.
And I know they didn't get along. I know Gene Hackman didn't really have a lot of respect for him, but like, my God, what an incredible Gene Hackman role. Like, just tremendous. Yeah.
We just talked about this recently, so I won't go too much into it. But yeah, great choice. Love Bottle Rocket. I'm all about it. Good stuff. This is going to be such a silly, stupid pivot after that to talk about this.
No, I love it. It's comedies.
It is. And I know for a fact that this one does not stand the test of time as much as some of the other ones that I brought up. But by far, this was the most foundational comedy for me, primarily because this introduced me to the world of satire. I didn't understand it before I had seen it for something that I loved and that was precious to me, that gave homage like Hot Fuzz did in a way that was still a good version of that movie. And you all have heard me talk about on the show many, many times. If you've listened for the last couple of years, Arrow Video put out the original movie that made me love it. But my pick now, Robin Hood Men in Tights, is such a hilarious movie to discover as a 6-year-old. And to watch that and to have a joke about a guy's name being Achoo, to having, somebody saying Abe Lincoln, and so many just stupid ass like vocal stim jokes that are in this movie. I fell in love with Mel Brooks. I loved the original Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. And so everything that they did to perfectly encapsulate yet send up the absurdity that is the over the top Kevin Costner and everything else that happens in that movie. I love Robin Hood Men in Tights to such a point that so far has really only been eclipsed for me for Mel Brooks with Young Frankenstein. Yeah. I loved Mel Brooks so much growing up, but this movie was my intro to Mel Brooks, and it was the perfect time, literally being a 6 and 7-year-old, to fall in love with this movie and watch it every single day, probably for like 6 months. This movie is shot well. It is acted well. It's got some really hilarious names in it that I love from other things. And so to bring all of that together to make fun of a movie that I truly adored, this was perfect for me. Yes, I understand. Craig says they got me at the right age. Yes, the movie is not great, but as a foundational comedy,
yeah,
this movie is so perfect for that. The adventure of the first movie is not even lost in the satire. A lot of the adventure is still here. It's so exciting. It's a very funny adventure, almost like swashbuckling type of film. And God damn it, if it didn't make me love movies. I so much loved this movie that it made me like tell dad jokes for the rest of my life. This is where a lot of that started. The dumb jokes I make on this show are probably because of Mel Brooks writing for Robin Hood Men in Tights. I adore this film.
I'm just glad somebody brought up Mel Brooks too. He's been such an important filmmaker for so many of us. I mean,
yeah.
For me, it does hit you at the perfect age, and this just hit you the right age. For me, it definitely would have been Young Frankenstein, because we had it on videotape, and we watched it all the time. And also Blazing Saddles. So yep. I got through all those too, and we even watched. My parents rented, High Anxiety, and we watched like all the old ones. The producers, unbelievable. The original producers, with Gene Hackman. That he would have been great in that movie, actually.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Mel Brooks is terrific. Spaceballs to me would have been even for that would have been in that era, and yeah, for at that age, that is a great movie to get, like a big, wild, silly comedy. Yeah. And I think what you're talking about too is like you get the parody aspect of it,
right?
You get what they're making fun of. So I think with Young Frankenstein, I kind of got what he was making fun of. Spaceballs, I got what he was making fun of. So right. Like that sort of thing that's huge. Like when you sort of get it. Another one I would have brought up is Airplane, because that hit me at that age. But on top of that, I rewatched this recently too. Top Secret.
Top Secret's great.
Was also a movie that I got what they were making fun of, and my brother and I got to see it in the movie theater, which was wildly probably inappropriate for two kids, but we did. And so I get it. Those are those movies where you're like, I know what they're making fun. They're making fun of this, and I know this thing. It's like when you're coming into that kind of consciousness, like those things are hugely important. It's foundational. I mean, and I think for so many of us, Mel Brooks is that kind of filmmaker. So I'm glad that you picked this one.
I mean, I couldn't not have a Mel Brooks. He has been one of the comedy directors so much that just made me appreciate all of this. And the appreciation for most of these movies we've talked about tonight would not have existed if I didn't have the appreciation for this specific movie. And again, I know it's not great, but to have that instilled in you, because even a rough Mel Brooks movie is still pretty damn good. Yeah. Was stoked to be able to have this. And I mean, to make that have, impacts where I'm, I don't know, 21 discovering the 12 chairs for the first time. And if I had saw that 10 years earlier, I would have been like, what the fuck is this? This is awful. And now it's great. Like everything that he's touched has been gold for me. I love so much about it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been definitely foundational for me too. I think I would have picked Young Frankenstein. I had actually in my hands, but I didn't put, I was like, well, it has to be Holy Grail. If I'm thinking of that time and that era, Holy Grail, but it was a real toss up between that or Young Frankenstein, because that was such a huge movie for me. Yeah. And it was just like, it's like when you see your parents laugh and you're like, okay, this is funny. Like, you know what I mean? This is what funny stuff is. And it's such an influence without really kind of knowing. But then that next part of being conscious of things in the world and things that are being made fun of. And then you're like, oh, I get this now. Oh, I understand. Oh, they're making fun of this thing. And I love that thing. Yeah. And it's such a big part of, growing up and understanding the culture that we're in, And I think he was He can be hit or miss, but Mel Brooks was important for that. We don't have filmmakers as much like that anymore that are doing that kind of thing.
Agreed, yeah. Especially for every single film. Usually it's like a one-off thing, but to be that consistently great at it is crazy. Crazy. All right. Any other comedies you want to shout out that were on a short list, or any favorites? Because I've got a list of like 28 here.
We've mentioned a lot of them, but I will say the one thing that I was going to maybe bring up initially when I thought about it, in 2019, right before the pandemic, I wrote a play. It was produced in Hollywood at a theater company I was a part of, and it was a parody. It was about. It was a parody of cop shows, but it was about teachers. It was about teachers with guns. So the teachers were all like had guns on them, and like were trying to take down the criminals in the school. To sort of remark a little bit about teachers having guns, which is a movement some people think is great. And so I made it big and wild and silly. And I certainly know that like Airplane was an influence on me to write that, but I did not realize until I had grabbed the DVD set of Sledgehammer, and I realized and watched it after we had already done the run and everything. And I looked and I was like, oh my God, this was a huge influence on me without me even thinking about it.
Wow.
And that show was one of those shows that I knew Dirty Harry. I had seen Dirty Harry. I had seen a lot of those action movies and Clint Eastwood movies at that time. And Sledgehammer was like, I know what he's making fun of. I get this. And it's not a movie, but it is something that was just hugely influential to me. And that's what I was going to bring up in terms of when I was asking about a TV show. It was just, I just realized, oh my God, this was a foundational comedy for me. I'm so glad that we get to eventually talk about it. I'm waiting until I have the courage to ask Alan Spencer to come on the show and be an interview. We have chatted back and forth on social media. I think he's an unsung genius, and so maybe one of these days.
I cannot wait to see you be able to live that out. That's great.
One day, I hope so. And I don't think I'll share that story with him, that he was such a huge influence on me, but he was without me even thinking about it, I was like, I don't think I would have written what I wrote without knowing, without having watched Sledgehammer. I don't think I would have I wouldn't have done it. Even if I also owe a great debt of gratitude to the Zaz guys as well, because it was definitely a big, silly comedy, because I thought the only way to tackle a serious subject like that and not sort of fall into like, isn't this dumb? Why do we people? It was just to make the comedy as big and goofy and silly and never really get too serious about anything. And people will get the point when they walk away. I mean, but yeah, thinking of anything else, your list is great. So you've already gotten some of these things. I see what people are throwing in the chat. So much of what John Hughes did, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which obviously I just got and I absolutely love. His movies are also so filled with heart that sometimes you don't always think that they're comedies. I know I threw in Surviving Desire, which is not a straight up comedy either. I actually love Kids in the Hall. We talked about Kids in the Hall. Brain Candy, I absolutely adored.
Great stuff.
Love Brain Candy. I love the Strangers with Candy movie.
Yep.
Huge influences. The Wildlife. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. It's a very 80s movie that hasn't aged well whatsoever, but I absolutely adore it. That's Eric Stoltz, Chris Penn. Not really a follow-up to Fast Times, but essentially a follow-up to Fast Times. I understand if people watched it, didn't like it. We watched it 1,000 times as kids, and I absolutely adored that movie. Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm gonna try to go through these quickly because again I have far too many. Big was probably my Tom Hanks movie growing up, and I fucking loved Big. It made me realize that some of these movies, they don't have to be believable, and they can still be funny on so many things, because obviously this movie is a farce, and it was great. Back to the Future, not the classic type of comedy, but obviously comedy, hilarious, very just perfect for me. I saw it 8,000 times.
Sure.
Likewise, probably one that if it had been one that I discovered maybe a year earlier would have been on the list, but Clue. I've seen Clue so many hundreds of times. It is a beautiful movie. It is hilarious. The cast is perfect. And so much about it is just astonishing.
Hey, that's one of those movies, not to interrupt you, but The Clue is one that I got the 4K of. And my brother and I saw in the movie theater. And it was when you get to pick which ending you got or whatever. And we went and saw it and we were like, because it's definitely a broad sense of kind of comedy. But I watched the 4K again and I was like, and I just, because I was a kid and I was like, I don't know. I just don't think I got it. Because I watched the 4K and I was like, this is fucking perfect film.
Yep.
It's so goddamn funny. And everybody in it is amazing. And I was too little, and it just kind of, I didn't latch onto it, but I didn't watch it hardly at all ever again, because I was just like, oh, I remember being somewhat disappointed in that.
Right.
So I never picked it back up. And then I realized kid me is an idiot, but now, but now I get to watch it. And I think it is fantastic. It is such a good movie. So I'm so,
glad you agree.
Yeah, I couldn't have picked it as a foundational comedy because
you hated it.
I didn't hate it. I just was like, I don't know. I was so pumped for it, and I couldn't get into the rhythm of it or whatever. Yep. But now I'm like, oh my God, this is an absolute classic. This is like one of the greatest comedies of all time, for sure.
I agree. Maybe a silly pick for a lot of people, especially in this chat, because I know that everybody that watches this, probably this was after their time, so not one that people appreciate, but Napoleon Dynamite was huge for me and my friend group. Loved that godforsaken movie. Fargo was a huge comedy for me. Freaking made me fall in love with everything about the Coens. Just so tightly written and hilarious and weird.
I almost would have said Raising Arizona, which was huge for me, but also Big Lebowski. I absolutely love that movie. Fargo is terrific.
This is really hilarious that I wrote these back to back, because these are the two that made me love dark comedy and then like the lightest of light comedy. Heathers, just a stupendous dark comedy. It is such a just depraved movie at the heart of it, and yet there's so many laugh out loud wonderful moments in Heathers. Just perfect. And then the light one, the Muppet movie. Obviously I adore the Muppets, and the light, like pillowy feeling of watching this film every single time, just I laugh at every gag still because it's so damn good. I adore the Muppet movie.
The Muppet Show, like when they had the Muppet Show on TV, like, talk about not really realizing you have it so good. You just think like, oh yeah, and it's such a good show. It was such a smart, great comedy. And I know they were looked at as like kids stuff, but this was them doing like a really smart adult show. Yeah, and it so good, dude. So good.
These are just the raunchiest of raunchy to put back to back here, and would never have made the list, but for some reason I loved them growing up. American Pie, Grandma's Boy, Super Troopers, Waiting, and Superbad. All just really like quoted for years in my friend group. Love every single one of these. Grandma's Boy specifically is underrated, I think, and underseen still, because still no Blu-ray in the US, I think. Just not appreciated as much. Waiting, way better than it should have been. Another couple big ones. Little Miss Sunshine, I think, is a damn near perfect film. Love that movie so much. Incredible cast. When you start looking that we have Paul Dano, Steve Carell, and Toni Collette in three, and not to mention, don't even need to name drop here, but the grandpa in this movie. Bringing all of these people together in a movie, that is such an absurd cast to get in a very small indie film. And then you're propped up by great character actors that you recognize from everything else too. Anyways, love
No,
Little Miss Sunshine.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I thought that they did such a trick with that movie that was so brilliant that they are traveling this great distance for her to go to this, show in this pageant. And then she comes out and does her show. And you realize how much they were just doing this for the love of her.
Yep.
And just to support her because they loved her. And it's like, damn, that really hit me. It was such a I love that movie too. And I think if you don't like that movie, it's because you don't think that's
have a heart.
You are a soulless dead person. And no, I just think that you don't understand. That doesn't hit you. I found that to be so it was funny. It was good. It was great characters. And then when you see that ending, to me was like, oh man, I didn't even see that coming. That's incredible.
Completely
really,
agree.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I was a little older for some of those, so I wouldn't have been as foundational for me. But those are some good picks. Some good stuff.
We mentioned Game Night earlier. It's incredible. Probably one of the best modern comedies. Like I said, Blockers is up there as well. A little older than Game Night, but Step Brothers, also one of the best of the raunchy, silly comedies nowadays. Good stuff.
Love Step Brothers. The first Anchorman, terrific.
Yep.
Tropic Thunder is
so
damn near perfect, and you couldn't make that movie. So you could barely make it then.
Yep.
It was controversial at the time. No way you can make it now. That is like satire that's on the edge of a knife. It could have gone either way.
Yep.
It is that movie's dangerous. I just rewatched it again recently. Yep. It's like dangerous how much that movie is. Somebody keeps bringing this up about Bad News Bears, and I think that's also a dangerous. There's a lot in that movie that does not age well.
And it could have been bad at the time, but man, they hit hard in that movie, and it's great. I love Bad News Bears.
Oh, fantastic movie! Really, really good movie. Walter Matthau just kills it, just crushes that movie. He's so damn good. And that is such a. I mean, I don't remember the '70s really all that much. I was too little, but just dads carrying around beer to little league games is not. You watch that movie and you're like, oh no, that happened probably a ton more than I was cognizant of.
Yep.
I wasn't playing even baseball that I was too little, but yeah, I mean, it was just that just is very much how things were in the '70s, and I love that movie. That movie's awesome.
So for movies, I have three more that I wanted to say. Wayne's World was really important for me as a kid.
Huge.
I was raised on music, so Wayne's World was one of the first movies that bridged the gap between appreciating films for me, because I was already singing so much of the needle drops in this movie before I saw the film. It was great. Absolutely love that it's been restored on home video and we can finally see it properly with the stairway scene. And then two that don't get any love. A modern master who has been involved with the Muppets. I adore Jason Segel, and I think Forgetting Sarah Marshall and I Love You Man are two of the most underrated modern comedies out there. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is brilliantly written to get a fucking vampire puppet show in a film, and he's just like, hey, it's something I want to do, and they made a full movie out of it, and it's incredible. And then I Love You Man is that, we were talking about friendship earlier. I Love You Man feels like it's leading into friendship, and I feel like it's going to be a really great double feature.
For sure.
Absolutely feel like it kind of laid the groundwork to be able to get friendship made.
Yeah, I think Forgetting Sarah Marshall is also really good. It unfortunately has a very garbage person in it, but unfortunately, but he's really good in that movie. It's a perfect role for him. He was so good in that movie. I was just thinking the other day, he's so good in that movie. They made another movie for him to play that character because it was just perfect for him. And it was and then it turned out he was as awful as he was. He wasn't. Worse. We were like, what a genius he was. He's pretending to be this total jerk, misogynist guy. Oh no, he was that guy. Oh, okay, that wasn't acting. But anyway, it is a great movie, and I love the story about Jason Segel. He was working on the vampire musical, and they were like, I don't think we should make that vampire musical. And then he like
millions of people to see
and
it.
he starts making this movie, and he starts going, "Oh, let me put that. What if I put that puppet vampire musical into it?" And they were like, "Oh God, no." I mean, yeah, Jason Segel is awesome, and the opening scene where he gets naked and he's broken up with, like, that is just one of the absolute classic scenes. Extremely good. I would be remiss not to at least bring up Ghostbusters, just because for me, it was like a kid. It was like that was the movie. Years later, it would be Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But like Ghostbusters was like the movie that every kid who's having a birthday would be like, let's go see Ghostbusters. I saw Ghostbusters many times in the theater. A movie that definitely has a couple scenes in it that you're like, ooh, that's not good for kids. But we saw all of them. What's Dan Aykroyd doing with that ghost?
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed like a pretty obvious one, but at the same time, it was huge at the time. Ghostbusters. It was, at this point when they keep going back to the well. Though I will say, my kids love the new Ghostbusters movies, so I don't know.
I haven't seen them. I heard if you got somebody that's like a preteen, it's kind of perfect.
I actually enjoyed the more recent one more. The one that they made before it, which has they have a lot of the old cast still in there as like smaller characters, but there was the big ending of the remake, or no,
Afterlife.
Yes.
There was Afterlife and
Frozen Empire. Yeah. And then the ending of Afterlife to me was like, again, it was that sort of Gen X nostalgia appeasement that I'm like, we never asked for this and we didn't really want it. And I don't, so that one kind of soured that one. But Frozen Empire is a little bit more fun and a little bit more, this is the legacy sequel wheels are off.
Yep.
And we can kind of make a movie. So, but they still are what they are. My kids though really enjoy them. So, hey, whatever. But yeah, Ghostbusters was huge. It was a huge movie at the time. And Ghostbusters cereal, two different cartoon shows.
Yep.
Like it was huge.
I wanted to bring up too, obviously these are formidable for different reasons. We've already talked about SNL. For anybody that's into comedy, that's one of the main things for a lot of them. This is on my list too. But Monty Python was also a huge thing for me. I started out with the show, which it's kind of same thing as you. I saw it on PBS and eventually was like, what is this? And they're like, oh, let's go watch The Knights Who Say Knee make silly sounds. And then
Shrubbery.
A couple other things that did not get any mention tonight that I think I really would be just sad if they didn't at least get one moment here. Everything related to Jackass was so the perfect encapsulation of my generation and the amount of times I don't know, did something just idiotic in a shopping mall or pushed my friend into a bush as we're walking through a parking lot. Or what the hell ever. Like, there's so much from this movie that was not even just the movie, all of the series, all of the movies, just adored all of them. They're hilarious. Whitest Kid You Know, one of the more important sketch shows for me. I think that Trevor was just a brilliant man. I think You Should Leave, got to mention earlier, but it is truly absurdist masterpiece perfection almost. One that never gets brought up and stuff like this because it's not really a sketch show and hardly anybody saw it. Flight of the Conchords is one of the funniest shows ever made.
Without a doubt. Oh my God. That show is so fun. I just recently got like the DVD of it again just to rewatch it because I don't have Max. Brilliant. So good. The songs in that one, I think it was a tough show to keep going because they spent so long writing all the songs that they use in the first season that to like the second season's a little less. But yeah, it's a great show. I kind of got to see some of the Whitest Kids You Know, but I didn't get to see as much of them. So it wasn't as huge for me their show, but what I saw of it was pretty damn good. Jackass is funny because some of the movies you brought up were some of the stuff that my wife is really into. And I know she's a little older than you, but like Jackass was like we have some of the Jackass movies purely because she loves the Jackass movies so much. Like that's absolutely, I mean, she has the taste of a 12-year-old boy. I always say that, but it's very true. And that's like, she loves the Jackass movies. So that's why we own them. And they are funny. I knew those guys because I was really into skateboarding, at least the culture of skateboarding. I was never a good skater.
Same.
And, I subscribed to Big Brother magazine, which was where all those guys started out. And there was a big Johnny Knoxville article where they were trying to like drink a gallon of milk in a sitting, and then so there's nothing but pictures of them all throwing up. And that's all before they started making these into videos for the Big Brother, the tapes that they started putting out, and then eventually became and grew into the Jackass TV show, etc. So yeah, I mean, the Jackass guys, that's like huge. And I actually really enjoyed the last one that they did.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I kind of love the fact that they're a little like, you know what? I can't do some of these things. I mean, I'm like, Johnny Knoxville, you don't have to have a bull knock you around anymore, bro. You're not, you know, like it's okay. But
yeah. I still say Jackass 3D is my favorite theatrical experience I've ever had.
That opening is fantastic. So good. Yep. So good. Yeah, those guys are great. Those guys are good.
Silly thing to bring up at the end too, but I still think one of the best TV shows ever made, and it's still going, which is wild. The British show Taskmaster. It combines everything I love: dry humor, puzzles, stand-up comedy done in a very improv way. Everything, every single episode has at least one moment of like laugh out loud, I can't stop myself laughing moments. Great banter between the host and the assistant, and it is genuinely one of my favorite shows of all time. I look forward for the international seasons as well. They've Australia, New Zealand. There's one in Sweden. The US tried it. Nobody should watch that one. It's fucking terrible. But all the other ones are amazing.
Oh, I should get into that. I've honestly not really watched all that. But on that tip, I also thought of putting Alan Partridge, but it's the movie's too recent, but I watched those when I was in Chicago doing improv is when I first started watching Alan Partridge, his original show, and Knowing Me, Knowing You, and all the shows that he did for the BBC. And I absolutely love Steve Coogan. And again, probably not the greatest dude in real life, but oh my God, he's so funny. I think he's a brilliant comedian. I love the Trip movies.
Yep.
Absolutely adore those. I've watched all of them. I could just put those things on. They're just very light, enjoyable, beautiful scenery. I've thought maybe they're going to do another one. I thought maybe I should actually watch the whole series. I don't know if it'll all be good, but 24 Hour Party People is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. Big fan of his. So I should get into Taskmaster because I bet I would like it.
I have a feeling that you would love it. And the next season that they're doing, they brought on their first American. Jason Mantzoukas is one of the contestants on it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love British TV that they just have shows. I think I was listening to Rob's podcast from the trip, and he was talking about how they don't do panel shows in America. And I was like, we really should do more panel shows.
I agree.
Comedians talking about pop culture, politics, whatever, making jokes, so everybody could just kind of like the whole day you're inundated with all this, especially these days for some of us, where you're like, boy, we really are living in a dystopia. And then you could go home and then people make some jokes and you laugh and you're like, okay, well, let's try to let it go and fight it again tomorrow. You know, I don't know. There's something to that.
I agree. That's everything on my list. I love that so many of ours were crossovers that we both enjoy. This was a really fun topic. I'm so glad we came on this. Yeah,
it is. That's great. It was your idea, and I immediately was like, "Hell yes!"
I mean, I usually try to have the guest come up with something because it's usually something that they don't get to talk about, and I'm just glad that we came on this.
Me too. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that topic. Like thinking about, I feel like I'm still going to explore this more, but looking through. Movies I have, and also just thinking about the movies I watch and like what really what influenced me, what made me want to do these things. I know I picked some that definitely I think had really lasting effects on me, but it's interesting to look at like what really, pushed me into doing comedy, what really pushed my comedy at the time and now. So it's a really interesting topic. I think everybody could do that. Like what are the things that not if you're doing comedy or whatever, but what just affected your sense of humor? Things that influence what you find to be funny. I think it's a fascinating thing to think about, and I'm so glad I got to talk about it. So thanks everybody.
Anything for New World coming up that you want to highlight, or that you can highlight?
Yeah, just the Jack Hill series is coming out next month. We'll be going back to our once a year Marvel movies that New World put out, because New World owned Marvel for a portion of the 80s, and my brother absolutely hates all superhero everything. So so I always like to punish him once a year. So, and this might be the last time we do it for a little while. There's still a lot of Marvel stuff that they did, but we're going to get through a good amount of that. So we may put a pause on it for a bit, but this is the third year in a row I'm going to punish him with Marvel stuff. And then we'll go into June. We're going to do action films, sci-fi in July, comedies in August. So a lot of good stuff coming out. And through all that will be the Jack Hill series.
Nice. Very nice. It's going to be a good year. I'm excited to see what you guys talk about next. And as Ryan said 38 times earlier tonight, come join the Discord. Come and support the Patreon. We got the link in the description below. It's a great place. Continue the conversation here. I'd love to be able to hear everybody else in the Discord share your foundational comedies. We'd love to hear it and have the conversation all weekend long. Reminder for next week, come back. It's the first time we've had an artist on the show. Really going to dive into designing covers, what's important about those, why people find certain things appealing. It's somebody that you're going to love to be able to hear from. So hope you all come back next Thursday. And on that note, thanks for everything, and we'll see you next time.
Bye everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week, and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description